Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. It is the 9th round of the RaceFactory Gaming National Championship live here on Start Your Systems. Wow, 2 weekends off, which meant 3 weeks off basically from racing for us. It's been a long time since Washougal, and yeah, we have got 3 races left to finish out this championship. It is going to be a lot of fun. Of course, Kellen Brower in the booth bringing you guys the action tonight. Just me, no Andrew Wood, unfortunately not able to bring it down and join us in the booth this evening. But we're still going to have a fun time because it's Unadilla, baby. It is such a great racetrack here to watch these guys do battle, and I'm super excited for it. Before we started tonight, I did want to give one thank you, I guess, more or less, to everybody that watches, all you guys that tune in, and a lot of you guys that were in the chat room and then sending me thank you and congratulations and all this stuff afterwards. Got the chance of a lifetime, really, to be able to do Racer TV broadcast for the real-life Loretta Lynn's National last week. Did 5 days of broadcasting with them, announcing at the track, a bunch of stuff like that. And all of that wouldn't have been possible without the support from you guys over the years, getting me to that in the first place, and then obviously watching these races and being as supportive as you guys have been. So seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, because that opportunity was so fun for me, and hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing me do something a little bit different than calling these sim races. Calling those real-life races was certainly a lot of fun. So big thank you to that for all of you guys that supported me over the years to get me there. Now let's jump back in and talk some sim racing, because I'm excited to get back after it here at Unadilla, and we'll do so by talking about our qualifying times to start off here tonight. Payson Johnson went fastest here at Unadilla this evening, or this last couple of nights, I should say. 208.0 versus a 208.7 out of Alexis Leclerc. Pablo Vial in the 210 range with Tyler Lang also there as well. So we're seeing that our 2 championship guys definitely breaking away down the stretch of this title fight between Leclerc and Johnson. If we jump over to the 250 class real quick, Seth Shirley fastest at a 212.4, but man, Cade Matherly right on his tail feathers there at 212.47. So 212.46 versus a 212.47. Literally coming down to knobbies coming across the line right there. So yeah, that's pretty tight among our title contenders at the top there. Brandon Tharp at a 213.1 is third fastest, with Balzer Stevenson in the top 5 as well. Let's take a look at our championship standings rolling into this. If you remember, going back to Washougal, Payson Johnson elected to race a 252 stroke, and while he did win a lot of money, he lost a lot of points in this title fight against Alexis Leclerc, and then Johnson himself actually raced Loretta Lynn's in real life last week. So been a wild couple of weeks for Payson Johnson. Now the onus is on him to try to close this gap back down. He's got 6 motos left to claw 19 points back against Alexis Leclerc, who is in position to try to win a record-setting 5th 450 national championship in this game. T-Lang still kind of just hanging out back there, 46 down, and then obviously big gaps behind that. So we'll see if Johnson can close back on Leclerc tonight here at Unadilla. 250 class-wise, though, we have got a doozy of a championship fight between Cade Matherly and Seth Shirley, and look at that. They were only separated by 1/100th of a second going into tonight's racing off of qualifying, and they're separated by 7 points with 6 motos left to go. So Matherly up 7 on Seth Shirley. Defending champion Logan Leitzel still sitting 39 back. So kind of like Lang lurking back there just in case things get wild for our 2 leaders. But it's definitely coming down to those 2 in a title fight situation. So that is our championship scenarios rolling into tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at this racetrack coming in here at Unadilla. We're also in a new server tonight, so we're going to see how that plays out. We're in the Hubbard server for the first time. There's been a lot of talk this year about lag and people lagging in the servers. So we have switched over to the Hubbard server and seeing if that works any better tonight. You can see it looks like they've already got the road turned all the way up here on the racetrack as Braden Castellaneta shows you the hot way around this racetrack. Look at that. I mean, deep ruts. He's hitting the sky shot right there. Man, this is going to be a lot of fun to see. Look at the size of that rut going off the racetrack. Yeah, that's what a road does in this game if you have it all the way cranked. So they're going to have to turn it back down. But like I said, we are in the Hubbard server tonight, so hopefully things run smoothly. And we also have the lag situation figured out, because we were lagging quite a bit in the RaceFactory servers, so maybe being in these zones will be a little bit better. We can talk about this racetrack, though. This is one of my favorite. I feel like I say that every week, but seriously, Washougal and Unadilla were 2 tracks that I always kind of circled when I race sim as tracks that I felt like I could do really well at. I think if I remember right, Unadilla was the last national I ever did in 2017. Raced a 250 stroke and went 16-9, I think, in the 450 class. And then off into retirement and up in the broadcast booth I was soon after that. Oh, jump that. Oh, almost got over it. But yeah, I love this track, man. It is a really, really fun racetrack. It creates really interesting racing because it's so back and forth going up and down the hills. And it's got some big tabletops, a few big jumps. So dualies will be aplenty tonight. I'm really bummed. I wanted to yell dualies a few times at Loretta's this year. And there's no real jumps on the track to throw dualies. And then it rains, so you definitely are not getting dualies when it's raining. So I didn't get the opportunity. I wanted to. I was warming up the pipes to scream dualies on the PA and for Racer TV, and I never got them. So hopefully I get a chance to go back next year and do Loretta's, or maybe do some more announcing elsewhere in the future and get a chance to bring dualies to life in real form. But we'll see some dualies here tonight for sure. The Sky Shot, a great place for it. Even out of Gravity Cavity, guys get upside down on that jump as well. So we'll see some dualies, no question about it. This racetrack has changed a little bit since I last raced it. Now we go all the way up this hill in the back instead of U-turning kind of in the valley, I guess, going up this hill. And then this used to be a long right-handed sweeper into a big step-up double, but now what they do is they come flying down this hill off this single into basically like a right-handed 90-degree corner, pretty much straight up, and then this little like step-up double, and then you get on the power all the way to the top. You jump this big step-up into the top, and you can see all the, look at this, look at all the mess that Braden Castellaneta's laid down in the back over here. Holy smokes, this is unbelievable, the erode. Yeah, definitely got to get a whole shot in there. But the whole shot isn't really mine so much as it's the Canadian Nationals. Travers and Coster used to do that whole shot thing all the time. And I can't really claim dualies as mine either because it really was a brainchild, at least to my knowledge, of Mikey Owen, who was the 2012 250 West champion in this game out of Australia. And really, really fast racer. But I did not come up with dualies. I stole that from Mikey, so I'll have to send residuals. Can't even get up the Sky Shot. It's so roached out. I mean, look at how deep this has been dug out. Castellaneta's out here churning laps around the racetrack as well. It's kind of interesting because I'm digging out lines myself, and now he's riding the track, but he doesn't see the lines I dug out because I'm in warm-up mode. So I see his lines, but then he doesn't see my lines. The anomalies of MX Simulator, the game. Don't even see my lines developing right there. Yeah, there we go. Got a little turnt on the Sky Shot. Oh, jeez. Brutal. All right, so no LCQ by the looks of it. So we got 40 riders. Whoops, didn't mean to hit that. We have 40 riders going to the gate. That looks to be our 450 motocross class. And we're doing 41 riders in the 250 class. So we are going straight into the motos tonight, folks. No consolation races. Once we get a restart here, we will get a lineup check. We also have a few new graphics this week, as you guys probably already saw. We're going to have a moto timer overlay in the upper right-hand corner that's a little bit different. And we're also going to have a moto graphic in the upper left-hand corner that is a little bit different. And to be honest with you, it was not necessarily my choosing to change these graphics, and you'll see that it fits really well with the overlay. Like, look, if I go here, here. Oh, look at that. It fits magnificently. It's not my choice to change that. I got back from being at Loretta's for a week, and suddenly my Streamlabs had completely lost all my widgets, so I didn't even have any of my anything. I didn't have my themes, I didn't have my widgets, I didn't have anything, so this afternoon I had to do a little bit of crash course on getting everything back up. And that's why we have some new overlays, some new themes, but hopefully you guys don't mind it. Hopefully the look is okay. It's a little bit more blocky. I might change it coming into next week. But that is simply why the change exists. Good grief, man. These ruts are brutally huge. Down at the bottom of Screw You, which we'll call it Screw You tonight, even though the Unadilla people do not like it being called Screw You. And apparently it was never called Screw You, allegedly. I think that's false. I think at one point it was called the Screw You, but they like calling it the elevator shaft. No, it is the Screw You. Oh, we're going to jump over these ruts, coming back to those across the start. We're kind of just hanging out because obviously running in a new server here tonight, they're working out the kinks. They're making sure everything's running smoothly. They're making sure the UID grab went well. So I'm kind of just playing right now, just having a fun time. Is it really only loading in at 720? That's interesting. Let me look at my bitrate. Please hold. Oh, my bitrate is cranked to what it normally is at. No, I everything on my end is outputting correctly. Oh. Wait a minute. So it changed the base to the and the output is different? I don't know if that changes. I changed the setting. I'm sorry if it stays the way it is. But I did change the settings, so let's see if it fixes itself. It might not because I already went live. Apologies for that. This is what happens, though. You leave, you come back, you call a race that's not a virtual race, and then the virtual side of it betrays me. I load up Streamlabs and everything's gone. So then I went back to the basics here. Had to redo everything. That's rather frustrating. So maybe try to reload it if you guys can and see if it gives you the option to go to 7 or to 1080. For me, it's not, unfortunately. So sorry about that, folks. If it's truly terrible, I will I'll go off air maybe after the first moto. So what I'll do right now is I'm going to record this first moto, and if it's bad, I'll go off the air. I'll create a new stream, and then we'll come back on. Who's going to take over for me when I go commentate SX? I mean, this is in the middle of the week, so it ends up being usually okay. Like at the moment, I can't call MX Bikes races because they put them on Fridays for some odd reason. If they were like Tuesday, I could easily still do that. But as long as these are in the middle of the week, I don't have any problem with calling these races. To me, it's worth it because MX Simulator has done so much for me personally that I feel like as much and as long as I can repay the favor and call these races and hopefully give you guys a good broadcast to watch, that, I mean, that's the easiest form of repayment to me. Like, I owe a lot to MX Simulator and what it's done for me in my career. And it's fun. I enjoy calling these races because we get dualies, we get crashes, we get championship battles that go down to the wire. I don't like calling the races when people ride for other people, and I'll call that out all day long. But at least, aside from that, the racing usually is pretty good. So we're going to roll into 250 Moto number 1. Seth Shirley goes to the gate first as he was our fastest qualifier, but Cade Matherly, they might end up lining up right next to each other. That would be quite a bit of fun. Oh, Devin Simonson is stoked on number 338. I'm going to have to see who that is in the server once we get loaded in. Big fan. I mean, the OG is J-Law. The new G is, you would say, Zacho. But I don't know if he means either of those riders or perhaps somebody who's on the gate. Maybe Walter Gebhardt, who's been running 338 this year. Devin Simonson stoked on Walter Gebhardt. Or Giblets, as we sometimes call him. Any 338s here? We got Colin Allen, Jace Williams, Rasmus Balzer, Jonah Paquette. Wow, that's a new face. Haven't seen him. Jace Williams, Emmanuel Cepeda, Rasmus Balzer there again. Race Cobble, J.R. Reyes, Braden Tharp, Emmett Sund, Baylor on the 615, Timmy Briscoe, Brandon Walter, Nick Niles, Ryan Chowsey, Christopher McPherson, Caden Speck, Joey Bradstreet, Tyler Blowers, Brandon Nygren. I did not get through everybody. Oh, boy. Well, I got to bring back the classics now, folks, because I did not get to call a single thing at Loretta's. So I'm hoping we're getting some dualies on this first lap, and I'm about ready to call us a Studio 8 whole shot into the first turn. Hopefully we get loaded in time. Scripts are ready. We're done. We're on the gate. We're loaded up. A couple guys back row. Everyone's revved up and ready to go. Who's going to get that whole shot into the first turn? Chaos. A lot of guys going down, pushing wide. And it's going to be Braden Tharp on the Covenant number 20. Tharp leads us through the Studio 8 whole shot line. Riders down going into turn 2. And Tharp has a huge advantage out of that third corner. So it's Tharp from Ryan Chowsey. Seth Carr on the 13 ride is in good position. J.R. Ray is also at the front. Now Carr tucks the front end. He goes down. He almost brought with him Stevenson, I think, on the Yogi Design Suzuki. Had to go off the track into Gravity Cavity. Rider down again. A couple more guys going down. Is up the inside. Battling with Stevenson comes Luke Fowser. Fowser saw him a few times at the ranch this year. Said hi. Always good to see him. And they're all chasing Tharp and Chowsey. 1-2. A lot of guys down, so we'll get a check-in at the top when we can of where our championship contenders are. It looks like Shirley might even be outside of the top 30. I just saw his name poked for it and then disappear again. So where is Seth Shirley? Shout out to Devin Davis for the $5 donation. We got a change to the lead maybe coming up. Chowsey up the inside. Thinks about it off the top of the hill. It's going to be a drag race back down. Tharp is trying to hold it. They're side by side. Is setting us up great for dualies into the leap as Chowsey lays it into the rut. Tharp is going to have the drive going up the hill. They're still neck and neck at the top. Oh, give us the dualies we've been craving. We've been asking for them. Please provide them. Good sires. Chowsey kind of hopping through. Tharp is going to pull up alongside. Here we go. Dualies! Not very big for Tharp, though. Anybody else tossing them? Let's see what else we get. Partolo, little whip out. Cepeda, Seth Carr. Let's just stick on this can. We got dualies. Oh, we got trialies, quadsies, upside down. There's Matherly. Oh, everyone tossed them. There's some dualies almost hitting heads, crossing over lines right there. Look at them. They're all having fun. Oh, look at those dualies. Mid-pack and turns into like 5Zs behind him. The Sky Shot, man, it provides. The dualies are elite, especially when guys at the back have nothing to lose. They're like, whatever, we're just going to toss it. Big sendies. Back to our lead. Chowsey still going at it with Tharp. Side by side through the first sequence of corners. Tharp around the outside turns it into the race lead again. And back and forth we go. So, as long as Chowsey led he is not going to lead a lap. It is 2 laps in the books now with Braden Tharp leading both of them. Chowsey second. Fowser up to third with Stevenson still fourth. And Austin Partolo inside the top 5. That's going to get the people riled up in the chat room. AVM 110 up here in the mix. Seth Carr on the 13 in 6th with Colin Allen in 7th. Me and T-Lang are best friends, he says, as he holds down a P7 position. Emmanuel Cepeda just here ahead of the 25 of Cade Matherly. So Matherly now knocking on the door. He's up into the top 10. And this is bad news for Seth Shirley. We are looking to see where the 44 ride is. As Matherly with those shiny red plates works on sneaking away. So 16th for Seth Shirley, 28 seconds back of our lead already, but Matherly himself looks like he is maybe 15 seconds off the lead already, so only about 13 seconds separating them, which could be construed as good news for Matherly, or Shirley, I should say, but Matherly is weaving around the outside of Emmanuel Cepeda as they come off the top of the hill. So far, this racetrack is providing some serious side-by-side action as Cepeda holds on. 57 of Jack Gatlin bringing up the caboose right here. Is this going to be some more dualies between these guys? Look at this, side by side at the top of the hill. Matherly's trying to turn it into an inside run. Inside option versus outside for Cepeda. Cepeda's going to use that drag race line around the outside to try to pull even. Matherly just kicks it out in front of him. No dualies to be had. And coming out of Screw You, our leader, Braden Tharp, now has a few seconds in hand over Ryan Chowsey. Hayden Stevenson has gotten around Fowser, who's down at the bottom of Screw You. Partolo kind of slides out, coming out, and he's in 4th now. Behind Fowser going down was Colin Allen as Matherly is going to move into the top 5. So Matherly takes advantage of a few others' misfortune to take over 5th place in this race. Lot of racing left to go. You look at that timing moniker in your upper right hand corner of your screen. It tells you how much of the moto is left, and then once that expires, we still have 2 laps to go after that. So this early running order will certainly change as the day goes on. Matherly is just trying to hit his marks and close the gap down to Partillo here in the 4th position. Then Stevenson, Chelsea, and Braden Tharp, Covenant number 20. So he was under heavy attack there from Ryan Chelsea in the 2 spot. And then Tharp turned on the afterburners, coming across the line to complete lap number 2. We're now on the 4th lap of this race, and he's opened up a little bit of a comfortable margin here. Nothing is comfortable in MX Simulator, though. Any time at all, you could have a fall-off crash and cost you quite a bit of time. So even though Tharp has this advantage right now, don't look now, because one mistake will throw it all down the drain pipe. I'll give you a quick early running order here. 6 minutes in, it's Tharp from Ryan Chelsea, 3rd place for Hayden Stevenson, ahead of Austin Partillo, and Cade Matherly rounds out our top 5. Emmanuel Cepeda runs in the 6th position ahead of Jack Gatlin in 7th. Luke Fowler is in 8th ahead of Colin Allen, who's in 9th. And Noah McLaughlin rounds out our top 10. Seth Shirley has crawled all the way into 11th ahead of Alec Horn in 12th. 13th for Evan Holt, who just moved into 12th because Alec Horn went down, so Holtzy up into 12th. 13th now for Seth Carr on the COV number 13. 14th for Brandon Igren. 15th is Benjamin Milchkovic. JR Ray is in 16th. 17th for Evan Vanderkoy. Ev moved up here, battling it out with Jonah Biquette, who's in 18th. 19th for Horn, who picked it up from that crash. And Blowers rounds out our top 20. You get to see early on how close some of these battles throughout the field are. Got 4 or 5 riders all going towards the sky shot together right now as JR Reyes has Evan Vanderkoy all up his tailpipe. And down the inside, or I thought coming down the inside there was Jonah Biquette. We have guys coming up to the sky shot together. Do we get dualies? Oh, Triley's in the background. Vanderkoy, Biquette, and Horn. They'll drag race up the hill out of the valley and head their way towards Screw You. Vanderkoy back ahead of Horn. Biquette losing a spot. Look at that line, though, for Horn. Vanderkoy back alongside, gets it going at the top of the hill and retakes the position. J.R. Reyes just feeling a flurry of pressure from behind. And to the outside, Vanderkoy is trying to slingshot his way by. Horn pulls up alongside again, but Vanderkoy using that momentum might get alongside Reyes as they come by the mechanics area. And the 186 will make that pass stick. So that just shows the fun battles we're having all the way throughout the field as our leader continues to streak away. Oh, pass for 4th has commenced. Cade Matherly has gotten around the 110 of Austin Partillo. So Cade Matherly has done exactly what he needed to do from a so-so start. He has just put his head forward and made quick and substantive passes to get all the way up into 4th place. Now ahead of him, he will look and see if he can get all the way up into 3rd before we hit that 10-minute mark of this moto. Luke Fowler dealing with some heavy pressure. He has got Cepeda on the 179 right behind him. Gatlin also in the mix. I think that's Colin Allen on the 351, also right there to the outside. Oh, Allen and Cepeda together, and they're both down. So Gatlin goes by. Who else is going to make it through? There is Seth Shirley on the 44. He'll go by. Alongside now on the 47, that is going to be McLaughlin, and he will also get around both of those riders who were down. Oh, 3 riders coming to the sky shot together. We're finding where the dualies are at. Oh, big dualies. Colin Allen underneath Emmanuel Cepeda, and then they all funnel into the exact same rut as they come up the hill out of the valley. Far outside for McLaughlin, far inside for Allen. Then they cross up, rider down to the bottom. That's Gatlin on the 57. McLaughlin trying to use the slingshot maneuver, but it doesn't work. Colin Allen makes that pass stick. So here is Shirley, who's now made it up to 7th, doing 2:17s. And then Matherly has got all the way to 3rd, so they've moved Chelsea back. He looks like he went down, I think, and got past. His teammate Partillo moves up into 4th, and Matherly is now into 3rd place. So if you're Seth Shirley, you got to just try to keep pace with what your title combatant here, Cade Matherly, is doing. 2:18 flat last time by, into the 7th place as mentioned. Luke Fowler just ahead of him. And then Chelsea, Partillo, and Matherly. So Matherly and Shirley doing similar lap times. Some of the fastest on the track, though. Braden Tharp, 2:16.2 last time by. Just reset the fastest lap of this moto. Don't think these other guys aren't fired up as Tharp goes down out of the race lead. I think he'll pick it up still just narrowly in the lead as Stevenson comes off the hill. And Tharp will indeed get going out of the valley right there. Is he going to get the double to the top, though? Oh, he kind of just got over it, but now Stevenson's going to be on him for the lead. So this is the difference between our two leaders now. Tharp and Stevenson, 1-2 on the racetrack. And if they start battling with each other, that will only help Cade Matherly, our championship leader, who's in 3rd. In fact, that's probably exactly what Cade Matherly is hoping for. These two guys start getting together, messing with each other, slowing each other down, maybe even going down. Should set up opportunities aplenty for Matherly to get into the mix. .3 seconds back to the 25 machine, and then Partillo, Chelsea, Fowler, 19 seconds off the lead, and Seth Shirley, 23 seconds down. Well, even though Tharp crashed, lost all that momentum and ground back to Hayden Stevenson, he has picked it back up and done a pretty good job right now of just keeping his eyes focused forward and not thinking about someone closing up behind him. And instead of Stevenson getting on him and trying to make a pass, it is instead Tharp who is inching away with the lead once again, similar to what we saw in these opening few laps. So the speed is certainly there for Tharp. It's more of a question of staying on two wheels as we go back and see Matherly with Partillo and Chelsea still right behind him. There is Fowler, and Shirley is now inching closer to Luke Fowler, down to just 2.4 seconds. 44 machine closing this gap down. And why this is so crucial is we are down to the nitty-gritty. It feels like there's a lot of racing left in this championship, but there is not. This is 6 motos left to go, and after this one, only 5 as Fowler goes down and Shirley moves up into 6th place. But Shirley, with this 6th place result right now, is looking at losing 5 points to Cade Matherly in the process. So it'd go from a 7-point deficit to a 12-point deficit in this single switch right here. And never mind, I should say, because Matherly has taken over the race lead, so Stevenson and Tharp must have gotten together. And Cade Matherly, we missed it in the back, has moved into the race lead. So right there, that is suddenly not just a 5-point swing. It is a 10-point swing as Matherly looks at picking up these 25 points in this first moto versus the 15 that Shirley sits on right now. But we are not yet at the halfway mark of this one, folks. Still plenty of racing left. As Matherly charges down through the mechanics area, Stevenson is going to stay close to him. Tharp in 3rd, Partillo in 4th, Chelsea 5th, and then Shirley in 6th. So it gives you a good indication as we'll see Shirley come through the mechanics area right here. Gives you an indication of how far back Shirley is from our race leader. And we'll see Stevenson still 1.6 back, Tharp 2.6 off of the lead. 6.1 for Partillo, 13 for Chelsea. And 17 seconds behind Cade Matherly right now is Seth Shirley as we work our way towards the halfway point of this moto. 15 minutes are about to be up. 15 minutes will still remain. And we'll see who can break through and maybe steal a moto win here away from Cade Matherly, because these guys are not letting him go. Matherly shot into the lead and has kind of stagnated ahead of Stevenson, who still looks to be fired up to stay close. We'll actually go on board with the 84, see what it looks like from his perspective. And as I say that, he's going down off the top of the hill. So Tharp will go back by. There goes Partolo on the 110. Here comes Chousey as Stevenson will get rolling just as Chousey closes in on the 379. And did I get a flash look maybe at Shirley in the background? Not quite close enough just yet. The 44 ride. So suddenly, Stevenson, who was trying to close in on the leader, is fighting to stay in 4th place. As Chousey closes in, and we head to the sky shot once again. But I'm Matherly 4 seconds ahead of Tharp. Partolo another 3 seconds behind that, and then this battle between Stevenson and Chousey, Shirley 18 seconds off the lead still. But if you're Seth Shirley, you're starting to see those gaps come down. Still running in laps in the 218 range, 218.3, 217.1 was his best. The Tharp up ahead of him was doing lap times better than that, so if you're Shirley, got to keep up with the consistency here, because that's what's starting to bite these guys later in the moto. The track is getting more worn in. And we're already starting to see a few crashes here and there. Stevenson going down. We already saw that it cost Tharp the race lead. He crashed. And Shirley definitely really good at the consistency side of things. Just doing his laps. Probably will stay in that 218 range for the rest of the moto, if I have to guess. I'll say that right now, and then he'll come through Gravity Cavity and do like a 219. Yeah, 219.3 exactly, as I called it. He's certainly got the gap tightened up now to Chousey ahead of him to try to get into the top 5. And if Matherly is going to win this moto, then for Shirley it's all about damage limitation. If you can, get all the way to 2nd place. Only lose those 3 points. But at least get up in battle for the podium if you can. Shirley carrying momentum through those ruts, hanging off the back of his JIBR.co Husqvarna. The good news for him is he can see a lot of his closest challengers right ahead of him. The bad news is the more that they're closer and stacked together, the harder it will be to pass them. Though they might get into each other and go down, as Chousey right there is down on the inside line. So that's going to be another position gain for Shirley. He's now going to be 6 seconds behind this battle. Partolo and Stevenson side by side coming out of the valley. So as we drop down off of Screw You to the bottom, outside line for Stevenson. He's going to cut back and try to use the very edge of the racetrack. Look at that scrub line by Stevenson. He's still bar to bar with Partolo, who will not let it go just yet. Another hefty scrub for Stevenson. Partolo is going to go to the far outside, not quite, middle outside. Stevenson uses the inside, shuts the door off, and he is now into 3rd place. So Tharp back into 2nd. Our leader continues to be Cade Matherly. 11 minutes left to go in this moto coming up. And Matherly just putting it down in the race lead. Yeah, Harrison, I'll be sure to give you that info. Just remind me after this moto. I'll let you know. I always forget it. I should write it down. But I'll let you know. So that shows you the distance right there back to Seth Shirley as we come out of Gravity Cavity. And Shirley again, 220.7, 221.3, 219.7 for Stevenson, 225.5 for Tharp, and a 219.1 for Matherly. So Matherly continuing to stretch it at the front of the field. Instead, we're seeing this battle kind of brewing for 2, 3, 4, Tharp, Stevenson, and Partillo. Launching back up the hill out of the middle part of this racetrack. The cool thing about Unadilla is the whole thing is in one big valley. So on either side of the track, there are lots of options that they could play with in terms of how they structure the hills, where they put jumps, and really where they put spectators too, which is why they opened up that corner right there at the bottom. It's not that sweeper that cuts off some of the fan zone anymore. They let that whole hillside be spectators now, which is kind of cool because it allows the people on that hillside to really spread out, be able to see a lot of the racetrack. Then, of course, the sky shot also utilizing one of the big hills here. Then they come out of this central valley. And this is really like the flattest part of the track. But you think it's flat, you get up to this plateau, and then up, nope, down the screw you. That is so steep coming down that hill. And you have to more or less ride the brakes all the way down hard to that bottom of the hill on the inside line if you can. Square off that corner nicely as Stevenson has a moment right there. As Matherly now has worked through a little bit of lap traffic, we're 21.5 minutes down in this moto. It is still Matherly from Tharp, Stevenson, Partillo, and now Shirley closing up on Austin Partillo to try to move his way into 4th place. So really pace-wise, this moto, it seems like Shirley and Matherly are pretty evenly matched, and it comes down to what happened on those opening few laps. I know Matherly was down off the start. We saw him get kicked sideways going to the first corner, and then everybody pushed wide. But we'll see if Shirley can make enough amends through the field here to at least land on the box when things are all said and done. See Partillo just ahead of him, and Shirley, if you're Shirley right here, like the weird part about this is you're not looking at Partillo, you're looking a little further up the track and seeing what the heck is going on. And speaking of what the heck is going on, Matherly has lost the lead. Tharp is back out front. Cade Matherly went down at some point, and suddenly Aiden Stevenson is right on him. Then you have this Partillo battle with Shirley coming off the top of the hill. And that is a wild change as Stevenson looks like he was just picking it up from a little bit of a crash right there. Now just ahead of Partillo. And Shirley gets to the inside. He'll get around Partillo at the top of that step up. So Shirley now into 4th place. And Stevenson trying to keep tabs on Matherly just ahead of him. As Tharp leads us down Screw You. With 7 minutes left to this moto. Oh, and there's that Matherly down again at the bottom of Screw You. Oh my goodness. And that was, is that Partillo? Well, that is Shirley going by. There's Partillo also finding his way through on Matherly. This is your championship battle. Matherly and Shirley coming up out of Screw You together with Partillo in the mix. Here you go, folks. Championship leader and man in second, 7 points between them. Nearly side by side coming through the mechanics area here in 250 Moto 1 at Unadilla. And Shirley, who thought, man, I just hope I can salvage points, is suddenly gaining points on Matherly. And I don't think Matherly is going to be too stoked on that. He's trying to get to the inside into Gravity Cavity. They're side by side going through here. Shirley's going to scrub to the inside. Matherly launches. It actually was a little bit better. He's going to try this outside line. Shirley cuts to the inside. They're still side by side coming down the hill. Matherly controls the inside here. What will happen? Shirley outside advantage. Big bumps on that inside rut. But Matherly squares it back off. Oh my goodness, they're still side by side, and Matherly's going to get him back as they go by a downed rider. I don't think that was for position, and they're weaving through lap traffic as well, but Matherly has made that pass again back ahead of Shirley. There's Stevenson and then Tharp, our leader, going the other way. This battle for third is intense. Matherly able to get back around Shirley, and Shirley has to latch onto him and figure out where the lines are to get around this racetrack. But also, I mean, we talked about the consistency side of Seth Shirley earlier on in this moto, and one thing you have to factor in here is that Seth Shirley is one of the more consistent riders on this 250 circuit. So maybe, just maybe, he's not content with trying to do the lines that Matherly's doing and close that gap down, because Matherly has already had a few crashes, a few mistakes. And if you're Shirley, you can just do the same laps you were doing and let Matherly have the issues that cause him to go backwards. Beautiful outside line right there by Shirley. Got that gap down a little bit again. That's another factor in it as well, is that if you just keep the pressure on Matherly, hikes up the intensity on the 25 machine, and he might ride himself into a few mistakes. Kind of dug the nose down out of that corner right there, for example. We're coming down to probably 4 to go this time by. It'd actually be really close, I think. Yeah, no, it should be 4 to go. So 4 laps to go right now, as Stevenson still holds on to second. Your leader is Braden Tharp on the Covenant number 20 machine. Bit of a roller coaster moto for him. At one point it looked like he was down and out of a chance for winning this race, but Matherly crashed his way back, and Tharp took full advantage of it. So if you're Tharp right now, race lead, big advantage. Just settle down, really, because you could just do laps that are a little bit slower than what you're accustomed to even and still win this race. But if you crash, you've cost yourself this race victory in a heartbeat to Hayden Stevenson or even Matherly, who's closing up on Stevenson. So Shirley is not running the same pace he was earlier on. He was doing those 18s now in the 22s, just made a mistake at the top of the hill right there. So 3.1 seconds now between he and Matherly. But Matherly just up the road is focused ahead, trying to close up on Stevenson and maybe get in a second place before this is done. Look at that line by Seth Shirley, hopping over all the bumps. That is a lapped rider down. That is not Stevenson. You can see Matherly just ahead of Seth Shirley right here. Oh my goodness, that's the same thing that almost happened to Matherly, I think on the very last lap. Got that weird kick out, and the front end just kind of has to dive down, and you just hope it gains enough traction to kind of stand you back upright. Hopping in through some braking bumps into this corner. Gives you a really good indication here on board with Shirley of how much this track has already chewed up in the 30 minutes. Rider down, but not for position, as checking in out front, Braden Tharp through gravity cavity still leads this thing. So Matherly now down to just about 2 seconds behind Stevenson. You're going to see him jumping out of gravity cavity just ahead of him. Pretty much in the air at the exact same time right there, actually. Oh, Matherly. That front end kind of knifed into that rut, stood it right up. And now Seth Shirley says, okay, I see what's going on ahead of me here. I can sense the opportunity to close this gap down right here. Oh, that kick though. Don't want to go through the front door. Coming down the hill as Shirley's getting all out of whack, but it looked like Matherly did as well. They both kind of took similar lines going up this hill. Shirley still gets that step up, and he can still see Matherly just ahead of him here. Gets that smooth crossover line again. The tough thing about this view is that a lot of these lines that you're seeing, they look just so easy to lay into, and obviously they've been dug out a little bit throughout this moto, but the problem is a lot of it is off camber. Like even at the bottom of Screw You here, like you drop down, it is just way down, and then suddenly you feel like you're at the bottom, but even these lines are not flat necessarily at the very bottom of the hill, so you're kind of turning off of a weird angle. As suddenly Stevenson is just 3.8 seconds back of Tharp, so Tharp has ran into his struggles. Matherly's still close, and this could come down to a battle for the race win before this is over, because the 30 minutes have expired. The 2-lap board is about to come out, and this is still very close amongst our leaders. A mistake for Tharp gives it to Stevenson. Even Matherly charging up could get to Stevenson in a battle for second place before this is over. And Shirley is just lurking back there all the while, hoping for a chance to get up here and fight with these guys. See the gaps right there. That is first through fourth. And we just cycled through on our screen. So Shirley, in his own right, has just stayed right in the shadow, more or less, of Cade Matherly. Hasn't let him get too far out. Biggest the gap was about 3 seconds. It's 2.8 right now. But that is close in MX Simulator because the mistakes come through in bundles. As another lap rider down. Is that Matherly off the side of the track? I think it was. Yes, it was Matherly. Oh, he looked like he maybe went down, but he did save it. Joins back in. He is now fourth as Shirley goes back into third place ahead of him. And what was going to be extended out to a 9-point advantage is now down to a 5-point advantage over Seth Shirley for Cade Matherly as they run. So we got two different things going on here. We got the Stevenson versus Tharp potential moto win battle, and then this unbelievable championship battle that just keeps on giving. And another chapter about to write itself as these two coming side by side into the sky shot. Shirley forces them out, but that rut is deep, and Matherly trying to use the middle line to get closer. Doolies off the sky shot. 30 minutes into the moto, these guys have been pushing the envelope. The thumbs have been moving like crazy on the joysticks. Inside line for Matherly. Coming down Screw You. He nearly pulled alongside. He's going to use this outside option as Shirley's down on the inside, and he's off the bike. So Matherly back into the 3 spot. Seth Shirley is now going to pick it up in 4th. And he's all by himself in 4th now. So then the attention back to our leaders. White flag going to come out this time by Braden Tharp through those deep ruts in our first turn complex. We'll see the white flag wave as he comes through Gravity Cavity this time by. Stevenson is remaining as close as he possibly can. There it is, white flag waving. Tharp in the lead, Stevenson in second. Is there any last-ditch effort for the 84 machine, or perhaps even a crash out of the 20 to throw this one away late? We'll keep an eye on the 20 machine on this final lap and see how he navigates. You're seeing just how deep some of these ruts are getting in the corners. As Tharp kind of bounces his way back out through the middle of the valley. The rear end stepped out on him there. And he kind of just did a little bit of a slide to stand up. And Stevenson is chomping at the bit, man. He wants to get up there and battle for this win. It is not over till that checkered flag waves, and Hayden Stevenson, I believe, is looking at a potential first career moto victory. We know Tharp has won races. He's definitely won some supercrosses. But Stevenson, on the 84 Yogi Design Suzuki, is looking at perhaps his best chance ever at winning a moto in RaceFactory Gaming National competition. And you know he wants it. He wants it so bad. Tharp is going to lead him into Screw You on the final lap. This is a critical spot. We saw Shirley go down. Tharp bounces, kind of gets hung up a little bit. Stevenson to the outside's got a great drive up the hill, and he's going to be nearly alongside Tharp as we jump out at the top. This is coming all the way to the flag as Stevenson crosses back over. Scrubs again. He's going to follow him to the inside line right here. They're both going far inside. Nose to tail on exit. Who's got the better drive through the mechanics area? Just a few corners left to go. Neither of them get over that step up clean. Who wants it more? Lap traffic getting out of the way as Tharp kind of hops through. He gets that front end high. They bounce through. The Little Dipper, I think it's called, at the top of the hill right here. One final time through the final corner. Stevenson got as close as he possibly can, but Braden Tharp takes 250 Moto 1 at Unadilla. 4/10 in it. And two guys landing as far as they possibly can out of Gravity Cavity. Shows how much they both wanted that win. Tharp takes it, but we will see if penalties are affecting that whatsoever as Matherly gets on the box in Moto 1. Shirley ends up in 4th. That'll be a 2-point swing in the favor of Matherly out to a 9-point gap. Austin Partolo and Ryan Chousey, the AVM teammates, coming to the line trying to battle it out for 5th, and Chousey goes down. So Partolo is going to be A-OK. Drops into Gravity Cavity one final time. Pulls out the other side with a nice whipper tail. He'll end up in the top 5. Ryan Chousey also in the mix there in 6th. Jack Gatlin 7th. Brandon Nygren, haven't talked about him all moto. He climbed all the way up to 8th on the 76. That's a great ride. Evan Holt now 9th, and Balzer rounding out our top 10. At least for now. Cepeda 11th, McLaughlin 12th, Bowser 13th, Schaefer 14th, Cobble in 15th, Miljkovic 16th, 17th for Vanderkoy, 18th for Horn, 19th for Colin Allen, who's out of this moto. Wow. So he's going to end up 20th. Last guy who finished the 15th lap. And Reyes looks like he'll bring it home 19th behind that. So see if any of these positions change to the flag. McLaughlin and Fowler coming pretty close here. Fowler to the outside, McLaughlin to the inside. Fowler launches into Gravity Cavity drag race. Oh my goodness, by 6/100ths of a second. It goes to McLaughlin over Fowler. Schaefer, Cobble, Miljkovic all coming across the line. We'll wait for those to come in and see if penalties affect our battle for the win in this one. Tharp got it. Stevenson wants it. I don't remember seeing any obvious off-track excursions, but there's plenty of times that these guys, they flirt with the edge of the racetrack a little bit here. They maybe just go off the track for a moment there. You don't see it, but suddenly penalties stack up a little bit. All right. 2 riders still coming to the line, and we will get those penalties in. And penalties come in, and Tharp maintains the win. So it's Tharp from Stevenson, Matherly, Shirley, and Partolo inside the top 5 for 250 Moto 1 here at Unadilla. Wow. Great race. Great battle. No question about it. Sets us up for a very fun first 450 Moto coming up. We'll jump back in the studio with you guys for a little bit and hang out. Dylan Brower in the booth. Just chilling. Why not? Having a grand old time. Watching some sim racing. That was a good one, man. Tharp and Stevenson gave it the berries all the way across the flag, and looks like Stevenson ended up eating about 2.7 seconds of cuts right there in the end. So, yeah, 2 more seconds of cuts than anybody else, or at least than his closest competitors. Like the 57 at Gatlin also had 3 seconds of cuts. Well, good morning, TTV King Soul. Coming all the way from Australia. Great to have you watching with us. Glad you guys are liking the stream theme. Like I said, this is not by choice. I just came back from broadcasting Loretta's last week, and when I opened Streamlabs today, this is what I had. So didn't really want it to be this way, but it is what it is. What else we got going on here? Yeah, nice cap. This is actually given to me by Bill Savino because his daughter Kira was the apprentice with us, and it says Loretta Lynn's 23 on it, and it has the HRC logo on the side. It's a pretty cool cap. I also have just way too much Monster stuff because the event was sponsored by Monster Energy, and they had us wear Monster Energy polos, Monster Energy hats. We have Monster Energy socks, Monster Energy pins. I got a Monster Energy backpack, a Monster Energy cooler, Monster Energy sunglasses. Monster. I got a Monster Energy air tag. Literally says Monster Energy juice on it. All kinds of stuff. Oh, man. How's everybody doing? Do you think Jesse Mullins' outdoor titles are tainted because of his dossing? I mean, it doesn't help. It's a sad way for his career to end because he's a really good rider with stupid decisions. But, you know, he's one of 2 people that have won the championship 3 years in a row, and I think that you have to give him credit for that. I think that his legacy as a racer in the game is different than his legacy as a person in this game. And his legacy as a person in this game is 100% tainted forever. The racer in the game, I think you would have every reason to say why he should be considered at least top 10 all time, if not even top 5. So it's unfortunate the way it ended, but yeah. Listen to me talking to that guy and The Apprentice. That's really cool. Bring the gift back to the stream. Link her socials. I actually don't know Kira's socials, but it's Kira Savino. It's Bill Savino's daughter. She did a really good job. You know, it's always tough. So it was my first year calling Loretta's, right? But every single year for the last few years, they do this apprenticeship program, which is young and up-and-coming people that either want to be in announcing or maybe want to be in public speaking or communications of some kind. They'll bring them in as part of our announcers crew. And there's apprentices that do videography with the videographers there and photography with the photographers that are there, race direction with the race directors that are there, merchandise with the people who do merchandise at the races. There's apprentices everywhere, but we just had 2, Blake and Kira. And they did a great job. Like, it's tough to get on the mic having never called a race and not knowing everything about the riders or knowing what class is going on or whatever and be able to talk about stuff. And that was kind of like our job as the lead announcers throughout the week, is to coach them along the way and give them good lead-ins and make sure that they have good stuff to talk about, give them top 10 rundowns, which is an easy thing to go to. And I think both of them were really solid at, like, at least having the courage to get on the microphone and talk about things. So yeah, all the credit to them, because, I mean, if I was 18, 19, which I think they both were, and tasked with getting on the microphone first time and having Jason Wygant calling races, I'd probably freak out a little bit. So, yeah, not too bad. All is good, Scooty. Appreciate that, man. Oh, yes, FOV. So, my FOV is 95. First person height is 1. First person angle is 25, and first person gimbal is 50. So do with that what you may. 95, 1, 25, 50. 95, 1, 25, 50. So there is Alexis Leclerc, our championship leader, looking for his record-setting 5th national championship in this game. 19-point lead, 6 motos to go. And this is a better position than he was in trying to beat Tyler Lang. So we'll see if he can get it done. Let's jump back in the full screen here and get you guys revved up for this race. 450 Moto 1 coming up. No, Alex isn't here tonight, I don't think. But you know what? I'll pick Pablo Vial for the whole shot. Studio 8 Whole Shot Award coming up. So we are revved up and ready to go. Who is going to get through that first turn first and crucially not go down? Leclerc played it safe, man. He is all the way tucked up the inside, trying not to get hit. Johnson's about 5 gates outside of him with Lang alongside of him. Here we go, 450 Moto 1, let's go! Bar banging into the first turn. It came from the middle. It was a cowie as a few guys go down. I think Leclerc is down in the first turn. And Studio 8 Whole Shot goes to Tyler Lang as a 78 of Hubbard, who got to the corner first. He got pushed out, but it is Lang. 377 of Gary Laser Eyes up here in second with Hubbard in third, and Lang is down out of the race lead. Laser Eyes is going to lead lap number 1. So Laser Eyes over the line. Hubbard second, Hall third, Holiak fourth, and Dre Smith inside the top 5. Looks like Johnson is down the order. I saw him in about 30th place as Leclerc also had to pick it up from a first turn crash. More chaos after the finish line. As I see Leclerc go by, there's the 9 of Carter. He got together with Dre Smith, trying to see where the 1 machine is. He's back here somewhere, and he is absolutely buried. Cooper Hunt back here. There's Johnson. Wow. 35th place for the defending champ. And look at the chaos he has to deal with. Braden Carter, our Supercross champion, is also back here. And honestly, I just want to stick back here for a minute. We see what's going on up front, but this gives you just a great indication of what it's like to have to deal with starting back here, even if you're not a championship contender like Johnson. Oh, he's down. Rear end kicked out, and down he goes. So the 1 machine running into some struggles here already. As we peek back up to the front, Laser Eyes gets cross-hooded in the race lead. He is going to bring us down to the sky shot on lap number 1. Let's see, can we get some dualies? Can we get some trilies? Can we get a few thingsies? Oh, backwards, Hubbard, upside down. Trying to get a number on who that was in third also there. Leclerc already 4th, wow. Oh, there we go, dualies. I mean, all these people should know we're watching the sky shot lap 1, right? Someone just flipped it. Look at that, quadsies. Oh, more dualies. Guys almost hitting each other. 24 at Eaglin rolled it. Oh, tapping some heads in the air. We got someone upside down right there. Huge oppo whip. I think it was 83 right there. There's Siebel, little kick out. Is that everybody? To be the case, as our new leader is Jacob Hubbard. So Gary Laser Eyes must have gotten lost at Screw You right there, because he is now back to 4th place. Nick Sellen up into 3rd. Leclerc is already in 2nd. So this is bad news for Payson Johnson to see Leclerc at the front of the field. We theorized math-wise with the way that things went for Johnson riding a 2-stroke at Washougal that Leclerc, who had been in the top 3 in every single moto, I think dating all the way back to Thunder Valley, just needed to finish 2nd or better from here on out, and he would be your champion regardless of which. But, man, you give him another moto win here, perhaps? As Johnson has to charge through the field, and suddenly we're looking at a situation where Leclerc can really cruise it home in the final 5 motos, which is obviously what he wants. As Johnson 24th place right now, Leclerc in 2nd. But Hubbard is no slouch, man. He is going to have to get to his teammate on the 78 here and do some work. There's Hubbard jumping off the hill. Launching back down into flat. And it's nice, this feeling right here. Oh, that's not nice. What a save! Rear end slides off the face of that jump, and it just plops him back on the ground ever so softly. So Leclerc now closes up a little bit more. I was about to say, though, it's such a nice feeling if you're Hubbard in this situation. I mean, it's nerve-wracking to be in the lead, no question. But to hear silence. this stage of the race, when you're the race leader and you get to one half of the racetrack and everyone else is on the other half, you don't hear anything. You don't hear loud 450s near you. It's just silence. It's got to be such an interesting feeling. I've only ever had that maybe 3 times in my career in this game. All the other times, it would just be dealing with what Payson's doing. Oh my gosh, did Hubbard just launch all the way out to that single jump off this table? I'm pretty sure he did. If you watch Lang right here, so Hubbard takes off this jump and then lands right there where Lang just went by. So, yeah, Jacob Hubbard feeling the flow out front. Actually had a fun conversation with Matt Burkeen's dad at Loretta's about how Burkeen used to hole shot, be taking it all serious, and he would watch him race every now and again. And then front flips off the Supercross triples or back flipped off LaRocco's Leap or whatever. It was a pretty fun conversation. Matt Burkeen, his dad. Oh! Leclerc down the inside makes the pass stick on Hubbard to take over the race lead. And is it goodbye time for the 7? Coming into this race fired up. The only other rider in the 208s alongside Payson Johnson. I feel like this is Leclerc's magnum opus right here. He has long been looking to be the winningest MX Simulator rider of all time. I think he's tied with Jeremy Smith now and may have passed him at Washougal with 57. But he's either tied or passed him by 1. And now trying to do something that I honestly, if you would have ever asked me, even at the beginning of me playing this game, if someone would win 5 outdoor titles in this game, I would have said, no way. Because the turnover rate in this game is unbelievable. The people Alexis Leclerc was racing in 2014 when he won his first title in this game, it's a completely different cast of characters. There's probably nobody left really that I can think of that was around back then that he's still racing today, except maybe Devin Davis. So Leclerc has just seen so much turnover in this game, so many new challengers, and every year, man, he just brings it. It's quite impressive to be this good this long at this game, because the amount that you have to play it for a decade to be this good is really remarkable. So kudos to Leclerc, because he is on his way to, I would imagine, at least finishing first or second in this moto. If he doesn't do so, I would be very surprised with the way things are right now. A little shout out to my teammate, Heckman Productions SYS Racing's Ethan Parks, who right now is running a very solid 5th place on the 147 machine. And he is absolutely carrying our program on his back, man. He put the backpack straps around his shoulders and he said, come on, boys, I gotcha. Because I ain't doing nothing. I have not raced in 6 years. Alex Heckman in and out a little bit this year. His brother Colton raced a little bit. And then Jeremy Smith hasn't raced in Supercross. So thanks, Ethan Parks, making us look very competitive right now with this top 5 running. Nick Sellen is 4th ahead of him, and then T. Lang 3rd, Hubbard 2nd. And I want to do a lap time check on Leclerc. 2:11 flat. So where is Johnson? Johnson is now 12th. And this might be a good lap here. 2:16.2, yeah. Leclerc, fastest rider on the track. And if you're Johnson, you have quite a few people to work through right here. The 27 of Pablo Vial. I think just ahead of him would be the 18 of Cooper Hunt. Vial forces Johnson out of rut and then slides out, so loses another position. Frank Jackson goes back by. Sideways off that jump right there as Johnson launches through all that stuff. Alligator wants to know, how good was prime Jeremy Smith? Well, Jeremy Smith is such a interesting storyline with Sim, because he never won a single 450 class championship, but he was, until 3 weeks ago, the winningest MX Simulator rider of all time. But the way that that's calculated is 250 and 450 combined, which Leclerc never raced a 250 in this game. And Jeremy Smith won back-to-back 250 Supercross titles, a 250 outdoor title, and then was in the 450 championship battle every single year from 14 to 19. Indoors and out, winning a lot of races. Never did crack through for the title, but he just won a lot. Like, he would just sneakily go and win motos, sneakily go ahead and win Supercross main events. I think he won Anaheim 1 like 3 years in a row or something like that. And it wasn't that he was like way better than everybody else. Like, during his time, I would say Tyson Fresquez was faster than him. And then later in the years, it was Jesse Mullins who was faster, Alexis Leclerc who was faster. Is that Smith was arguably the most consistent fast guy of all those guys, so he would just win races based on doing the same thing for 20 straight minutes. And that was what made him so good and win a lot of races. So I wanted to see a lap with Johnson as he deals with traffic. 2:15 that time by. And I hate to say the word traffic because he's passing people for position, but it's kind of what it is for Johnson. As he weaves around Devin Davis, next up Pablo Vial. How about Eduardo Simos with a good start here? He's up in the mix, battling it out with Pablo Vial. Vial just scrubbing his way in front of Simos. Here's Johnson inside to make that pass stick on Simos. Next up, he'll go after Vial. So Hubbard's back in the lead, 3 seconds ahead of Leclerc, 13 seconds ahead of T-Lang. And then the gaps start opening up. 23 back to Sellin, 31 back to Parks. And then Mason Johnson is 30 seconds behind Alexis Leclerc as we run. Oh, can't really call that dualies. They were not side by side. But I like the whips. Oh, Johnson hung up on the inside line a little bit right there. Really good job not to get too buried in or have the front end dig in awkwardly and get kicked sideways. Look at that. That's that line I was talking about, jumping all the way out to that single. I don't know that it's like wildly fast or anything, but I guess if he feels he can do it consistently, why not? So there is Parks, Vial, Johnson. 5, 6, 7 on the racetrack. Parks a mistake. Johnson might get a twofer. Vial swings the outside, trying to hold it on side by side as they go over this double, and Johnson now all the way up into 5th, not even halfway through the moto. So great job at damage limitation, but he has got a lot of time to make up to get to Leclerc. There's Nick Sellin in 4th, Tyler Lang 3rd, and Leclerc has just retaken the race lead. He is now out front by just over a half second on Jacob Hubbard as they're all by themselves getting through a little bit of lap traffic on the far end of the race circuit here. We'll go on board with Hubbard and see what it's like to follow Alexis Leclerc up this hill. Leclerc's starting to inch away. I use Technicolor and, Technicolor 2 and Luma Sharpen. So yes, the red's probably a tad strong. Honestly, what ends up happening, I have an issue with my reshade that it just doesn't save default presets. And yes, I've tried many different things to try to fix it. But every time I go in, I have to do a new preset. So it's not always the same, which is why the reds are probably a little strong today. I should probably lower the saturation a smidge. We'll get there when it's time. The rest of everything looks gorgeous as Hubbard goes back to the lead. So Hubbard and Leclerc playing a little bit of you crash, no I crash, no you crash, no I crash. And back to where Johnson is, which is battling with Pablo Vial to the death. They come out of Screw You together. Oh, Vial Just landed so hard on an inside braking bump right there. I don't know what it is, but Johnson looks a little bit off on this track. Normally you watch him ride and you're like, I don't even know how he's going that fast. This one, you know why the lap times are as fast as they are. It's because he's absolutely hanging it off, because he's bouncing around the track. The bumps don't look like they're flowing underneath him as nicely. Even right there, has a little bit of a hiccup on traction of exit. A 2:13.6, I mean, it's one of the fastest on track. But it's not necessarily the prettiest 2:13.6 is what I'm getting at. Oh, front end, pacing, pushing it out a little bit right there. So he's got Nick Sellen pretty close ahead of him now. It's only 4 seconds between them. And then it's a chasm, 15 seconds all the way up to Lang. And then Leclerc and Hubbard weaving through lap traffic. 93 right there, I think is Rockefeller on that Suzuki. Got a couple guys messing around with each other back here, just kind of being a nuisance in the way of our race leaders. 83 and 93. Leclerc's having to navigate them rather calmly, not get caught out by their antics. So they messed around with each other, let Leclerc go, and then immediately picked up the pace, got right on him, and screwed around with each other some more. So, yeah, fantastic. As Leclerc goes through the mechanics area again. Oh, leader Hubbard is down. Just shy of the Studio 8 hole shot line. Gonna pick it up still just there ahead of T. Lang. And Lang now caught out by those lap drivers messing around with each other. So it's Austin Bear was one of them. And I guess the other one must have been Rockefeller. So Lang now trying to close up onto Hubbard. Quick top 10 rundown real quick. Leclerc, we're at the halfway point, leads this thing. Hubbard second, Lang third. Johnson just got around Nick Sellen for fourth. 2:12.7 last time by. Nick Sellen in 2:18s. He is in fifth though. Pablo Vial in sixth. Ethan Parks seventh. Frank Jackson eighth. Cooper Hunt 9th, and Eduardo Simos rounds out our top 10. Braden Carter is side by side with Anthony Pachone for 11th. And the 9 machine right now gets the best of him. Sometimes I like just looking at this kind of third-person orbit camera, because it's interesting to see how their bikes work. And when you're looking at them more stationary like this than with the camera, you can see a lot of different things going on. Leclerc's rear suspension sagging quite low. So I feel like he'll get caught out by some of the big bumps. But at least on the rest of the track, it's flowing pretty well through the small chop. Like right there, you can see it really bounces through the bigger stuff. If we look at Hubbard here, let's see. Has he got a pretty similar setup? No, like see the rear end's higher, but it bounces more there. So maybe he's got to lower the rebound a little bit. Lang just charged on the outside, makes it look way too easy. And then Johnson. So Johnson 13 seconds back of Lang. 12 minutes of this moto still to go. And Lang's going 2:18 last time by. Closing up on Hubbard, who is a 2:24. So if you're Johnson, there's plenty of opportunity to get maybe even up to second in this moto. Still launching out to that single. But if Leclerc wins and Johnson gets second, then we're looking at a 22-point gap with 5 motos to go. And the only person I know who lost that battle with that big of a lead was Iago Geertz, who lost 28 points in the span of 5 motos to Tom Vial to lose the MX2 title last year. I guess you could also say Eli Tomac lost that, but he did not have a 22-point advantage. He had a 16-point advantage, I believe it was, on Chase Sexton when he went out. This is your battle for second on screen right now. Lang all over Hubbard. The rider goes down, but that is lap traffic as they work their way into the back right now. We are coming up on 10 minutes left to go, plus those 2 laps in this moto. And Leclerc is not inching away from this group as I thought. 1.9 seconds. And that is interesting because Johnson now is only going to be, what, 15 seconds back of Leclerc? That just takes a few good laps out of Johnson and a fall-off crash for Leclerc to suddenly be in striking distance when at one point he was 35 seconds ahead. Oh, Hubbard bouncing his way through. Dualies and even the bike hump for Hubbard. He knew he was on camera. He wanted to show off. Lang just trying to figure it out. Where do I go? Where can I make this pass as Hubbard gets a little off kilter? Lang trying to use the outside to slingshot, but just not quite close enough. They bounce into this corner. Oh, that is, didn't see who that was going down, but a lapped rider. So don't look now. These 2 guys are still right there behind Leclerc as Hubbard kind of blew the inside line right there, and Lang is just going every which direction he can try. Far outside, far inside, crossing over ruts. Has not gotten close enough to attempt to pass on Hubbard yet, but at least what this is giving him the option of is try lines out and see, when I do get close enough, where could I make a pass? Like right there, for example, he got a lot closer. They both bounce to the far inside right here. Oh, Lang stands it up a little bit. And that will open the gap out slightly. Not much, but enough that Hubbard, for the time being, doesn't have to think immediately of the attack from behind. And then he just makes a mistake, doesn't get this tabletop, and here comes Lang right back on him again. Oh, Lang down. And will that be third place then for Payson Johnson? He is going to pick it up. And there is Payson now right behind him. Man, the way that Johnson has gotten this thing this close down the stretch is pretty incredible. I thought this was a foregone conclusion that Leclerc was going to gain points on him this moto, but now I don't know that I can be so sure of that. Oh, both those guys sending it into those ruts. Oh my goodness, how did Johnson not tip the front end right there as he scrubbed up the hill? So off of the sky shot and headed towards Screw You they go. We have right now Leclerc and Hubbard separated by about 4 seconds, and then this battle for third place. Inside line for Payson Johnson, crosses over and goes down. I think he was a little overzealous trying to cut the line off to Lang. Bouncing over those ruts puts him on the deck. He does not fall off the bike, but does lose some valuable time that he could desperately need late in this race. Johnson flying that outside line, pushing the envelope as much as he possibly can as he swings it through there. And then Lang jumping into gravity cavity, Hubbard and Leclerc. So lap time check of our leaders. Leclerc 2:14.3, 2:17.5 out of Hubbard. 2:26 flat out of Lang, but he had a crash, and then a 2:18.4 out of Johnson, but he had a slide out. So it doesn't give us the exact situation we really wanted to see. we come down into the middle section of the racetrack, Johnson is absolutely hanging it out right here. What do you see? Do you see a blue motorcycle? You gotta let the people know. Mason Johnson now up into third place, trying to see who went down. It was Tyler Lang. Went down in the 3 spot. He has slipped back to 4th behind Johnson. So now up into 3rd and only 5 seconds off of our 2nd place man right now. Go up a little bit. Better? There's Hubbard coming down. Screw you in 2nd place. With Leclerc still leading this thing by about now 7 seconds, it looks like. Hubbard to slip back a little ways, and all eyes on Payson Johnson. What do you think, Holly? Good racing, no question about it. You see the blue motorcycle? 2 of them. They going really fast?
Yeah.
You know what sound the motorcycle says. Let the people know. What does the motorcycle say?
I don't know.
Battle for 2nd is on. Jacob Hubbard starting to deal with pressure from Payson Johnson, so the 78 machine has made a little bit too many mistakes here in the latter stages of this race, and Johnson has clawed all the way up into a position where he can battle for 2nd. Leclerc going the other way on the racetrack has plenty of breathing room for now, but if Johnson gets in a 2nd, gonna feel a lot tighter than it is. As there it is up to the top of the hill. Johnson all over Hubbard. Gonna switch to the outside. Hubbard's going inside. They both scrub off that single jump. See the green one?
Yeah, I blue one.
Green and blue?
Yeah.
Here we go into the sky shot. We can get some dualies, Holly. Oh, dualies. Big whips. Can you say dualies? Johnson trying to find his way through on Hubbard. But Hubbard, of course, teammates with Leclerc. Could be playing a little bit of a blocker here as they go to the bottom of Screw You. Johnson the outside. Great drive up the hill. Hubbard wheelies. Johnson launches out to flat. They cross over. Johnson gets kicked sideways and Hubbard maintains the 2nd position. Lap traffic gonna come into play. Johnson now alongside as they go into the mechanics area. Hubbard crossing back over, trying to get to this inside line. But Johnson uses the outside to gain the advantage and will move into 2nd place. Coming up to the final 2 minutes left on the clock in this one. Leclerc has already taken his Kawasaki over the line. And Johnson in 2nd place. A remarkable comeback for Payson Johnson to get all the way here in the 1st place. But he would really like to use these final 3 laps to get something done on Leclerc if he can. 14-second deficit. Needs a crash out of Leclerc. So all Leclerc can do right now in the race lead is try to settle his focus down, hit his marks, and make sure he doesn't make too many mistakes. So here's Leclerc into the sky shot. And with a minute left on the clock, boy, it is going to be very close. I think white flag will come out next time by. Or not white flag, excuse me. 2-lap board come out next time by. 13 seconds in it. So we're going to keep an eye on Johnson versus Leclerc here because championship implications are huge. But Johnson might actually be doing the heavy lifting he needs to get this gap close enough in the event of a mistake out of Alexis Leclerc. See some riders down right there, so Johnson's going to hit that inside line. He's got it down to 13 seconds. He can get it down to 12 by the end of this lap. We might be on for something interesting as the race draws to a close. We are down to the final 5 seconds right now on the clock. In server, it's a little bit faster than what you guys are seeing on screen. So as we come across the line, 30-minute mark has already passed. 2-lap board is coming out. And 2-lap board is in the air. Alexis Leclerc has 13 seconds to work with to try to win this first moto at Unadilla and take with him a huge feather in the cap towards trying to win the title in 2023. Like I said, coming in, 19 points was the difference. Johnson absolutely needed to win this moto. And instead, Leclerc might walk away with the moto win and a 22-point advantage in the championship with 5 motos left to go. So if you're Leclerc and you have a 22-point lead, you can do the final 5 motos by only needing to finish second once, I believe, and then you could be third every time other than that. Or excuse me, you need to finish second twice, and then it could be third every other time after that. So 3 thirds and 2 seconds would be what he needs to clinch this title if he wins this moto right here. And you can tell, I mean, Hubbard definitely gave him a run for his money this moto. Tyler Lang also factors in, but it feels like Leclerc and Johnson are more or less the class of this field. And if Johnson's not going to win the motos and kind of hands a few over to Leclerc, that's going to be all she wrote on this championship. This is pivotal right here that Leclerc stays on 2 wheels for his sake. If you're Johnson, you came from so far back and you feel like you've ascended so much of the mountain, but you have not reached the peak because you need to get Leclerc for this really to matter. White flag coming out next time by, and Johnson, like I said, he's done a pretty remarkable job of getting this as close as it's going to get. 9.6 seconds now, the gap. And the tough thing for Leclerc is he is going to hit lap traffic before this thing is done. So Johnson is just trying to do everything he can to get it as close as it can to make it as uncomfortable as he can for Leclerc in the lead. And Leclerc is going to hit probably at least 3 or 4 lappers before this race is done. Maybe more. So we'll see. Into gravity cavity. White flag will wave. 9 seconds is the gap now. He's going to gain about 4 seconds, maybe even more this lap. 2:17.2. Johnson now checks in. He goes down to a 2:13 flat, and it is at an even 9 seconds. So Leclerc has to survive the barrage of lap traffic ahead of him to win this moto. Johnson has to hope for a huge one out of the 7, which can happen in MX Simulator. You think we get to the last lap. You think that the guy with the red plate has got this thing wrapped up. And it just takes one mistake, like right there. You see the rear end kind of tap over that jump coming into the valley. And Johnson, I mean, for Johnson, this is what he does. He rides better looser. When he gets big leads, he tends to almost ride worse. So at the moment, he's just trying to lay it down and get as close as he can. Look at this. I mean, that same camera, we didn't even have to change. And now Johnson, through the front door and down. Hitting him is the 70. And, it all comes to an end right there as Leclerc can almost certainly cruise this thing home now on the last lap. He's going to have plenty of a gap ahead of him, 19 seconds. And when Johnson was hoping for the mistake out of Leclerc, it instead goes the opposite direction. And instead, Johnson goes down. Leclerc now has the advantage. He's on his way to a huge moto victory right here in the stretch run of this championship. Washougal was big. It was massive in turning the tides in his favor, with Johnson electing to race a two-stroke. Won money, like we said, but might have cost him this championship. And instead, Leclerc is going to roll straight from Washougal after a lengthy break into Unadilla, get out front early, and cruise it home. 450 Moto 1 at Unadilla goes to Alexis Leclerc. Jason Johnson will bring it home in second, and it was a valiant charge. When we went on board with him in the first lap of this race, he was in 35th place. And he's going to get all the way to second. Had a shot at winning this thing, but the late crash really cost him. He'll get second. Hubbard, who led this race for a period of time, will get third. And Tyler Lang follows him home very close there in fourth, only 4 seconds down at the end. Then a big gap back to fifth place. Frank Jackson there in the 5 spot. Cooper Hunt 6th. Nick Sellen 7th, with Colby Eaglin dropping into Screw You. He's 8th. Braden Carter follows all the way up to match his number in 9th. And look at this battle coming in the sky shot right now. Simos with lappers behind him. Then you got Ethan Parks there with lappers as well. 8:24 is a lap rider. He's got Castellaneta right behind him. As they go up out of the middle of the track right here. 147 versus 12. Oh, Castellaneta almost into Parks' rear tire, and then Parks makes a mistake. Castellaneta makes a mistake. Neither of them get a great drive coming out of Screw You. And they stay pretty much exactly where they were entering after all that chaos. So this one's coming all the way to the flag. Probably our best battle on the track to watch as it comes on down. Parks holds it pretty steady through that first turn complex, but up the inside comes Castellaneta. He's going to pull nearly alongside. Parks left the door wide open, and Castellaneta took advantage into the final corner. Parks gets that inside pretty well. Jumping into Gravity Cavity, it's close, but it will be Castellaneta ending up 11th. Parks 12th. 13th for Devin Davis. 14th for Cocroft. 15th, Caleb Hall. Tanner Rogers goes by him, but then Caleb Hall gets back by, so Tanner Rogers ends up 16th. 17th was Spencer Turley, first rider a lap down. 18th for Kyle Boardman. 19th for Jared Gummison, and 20th was Anthony Pachone. And yes, indeed, you guys in chat talking about it, 22 points with 5 motos to go is the gap. So Alexis Leclerc up 22 points on Payson Johnson. So long as cuts don't affect anything, but I don't imagine they will in this top group, and they don't affect anything inside of the top 10, actually. So it is Leclerc from Johnson and Hubbard, your podium in 450 Moto 1. All right, we're rolling right along with the program. Coming up next, 250 Moto 2. We'll jump back in the intermission screen with you guys and hang out here for a minute. What's going on, folks? Getting a little twisted here tonight. Good to see everybody. Hopefully you've enjoyed the racing tonight, because we still have 2 motos left to go. People hanging out from Leclerc. That is the 318 ride. Ramon! Who's the 318? Let's go back and find who it is. Who's messing around? Ethan Olson. Thought I saw Olsen on the back. I didn't want to be wrong, though. The sound of idle machines. Honestly, like a white noise. Like I could just like decompress and listen to 4 strokes at idle in MX Simulator. Dang, look at Travis McGill bought skis from Phil's because of this game. So shout out Phil Ski and Snowboard, who of course sponsor our Phil Ski and Snowboard Kawasaki program, but also have been a sponsor that helps out with the series for last 3 or 4 years. So shout out to them. And yeah, look at you, Travis McGill, buying some skis. Love to see it. Loretta Lynn's MX is good, Tim. Thanks for asking. Like I said, I hope people enjoyed the commentary that I was providing there. 5 days of it, crazy up and downs. But it was fun. I had a good time. And yeah, thanks, Ramon. Appreciate it. Says I did a hell of a job with my commentary at Loretta's. So thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, all I want to do is just like a good job at relaying information. One of the things that irked me about watching Loretta's broadcast in the past is it would just be like a bro show, and they would just be like talking to who knows who in the tower and not talking about the race whatsoever. Like, I wanted to call the race. I wanted to call what you saw on screen and the riders that were moving forward and stuff like that, because there's a lot of people that try really hard to get to Loretta's, and there's a lot of people that tune in wanting to see their buddy or friend or family member do well at Loretta's. And if they're battling for third place on the screen and you have guys in the tower talking about what they're eating for a sandwich, I don't think that's really that cool. Like, we have downtime where we can do that in between the motos, but I tried to call the racing as I saw it. So maybe people like that. Maybe people like the bro show more. I don't know. But for me, that's why I felt like on top of it with calling every race that I saw and trying to be good about that. So like I said, hopefully people enjoyed that. And yeah, be really fun if I get to do it again next year. But even if I don't get invited back, it was still a blast. And yeah, kind of like a dream come true. Like I said, being able to call some real racing. Good times, no question. All right, 250 Moto 2 coming up next. Moving right along through the program here tonight. No consies definitely moves this thing quicker, but we're still going to be getting out of here at like around 8:45-ish, which is pretty much what we always end up doing. How did I get that Villapoto jersey and when? It's a really interesting story, this Villapoto jersey. I saw this on a rack at a garage sale. And when I went to see it, it's all sub-laminated logos, sub-laminated number, name, and there's logos on the front of it, Parts Unlimited, Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, like all that stuff. And then also, I found the pants at this garage sale, and it has all of the stitching and all that stuff that says Pro Circuit and all that stuff down the side. And I bought it for $10. I was like, what the heck? Like, how did I find this? Like, here, I'll front of it. Monster Energy, Kawasaki, Amped Mobile, Pro Circuit. And that's all sub-laminated. That's in the stitching. Pressed on. Side. There. Yeah. Super random garage sale find. No, I'm keeping this for sure. One day I hope to get Villa to sign it too. This Reed jersey I have back here is signed by Chad Reed. So yeah, I'm keeping the Villapoto jersey. All right, who am I picking for hole shot this time? Tharp was pretty good last time. I'm gonna go Colin Allen hole shot this time. Why not? All right. Let's get back into the swing of things. 250 Moto 2 coming up. Have I done a ride the track after the moto's done to show us how gnarly it is to ride these conditions? No, but I can. It'd be really fun if I could get A-Wood in on it too, but that's probably not happening. We already had 9 announcers this week, so. All right, are we rolling? What's going on, T-Lane? Get the ball rolling here. I'm not gonna be here all night. I wanna watch some motos, yo. All right. My POV is 95. Mr. Can of Candy, 95. All right, here we go, folks. Final 250 moto of the night. Well, Tharp won the first moto with Stevenson on his tail. Let's see if we can see another winner here at Unadilla. We are racing as the gate is down. Who's going to get that Studio 8 hole? Through the first turn, Caden Speck. I almost called Colin Allen to get it. Oh, Colin Allen is going to get it. Yeah, let's go. Studio 8 hole shot. Colin Allen picked it like I knew what I was talking about. We don't even have Alex efforts here. I'm just out here having a good time. But Colin Allen rips the Studio 8 hole shot. As Caden Speck second. Seth Shirley with a good start. Matherly also there as well. Remember, Shirley was 4th and Matherly was 3rd in the first moto. Where is Tharp? Our Moto 1 winner. We'll have to see where the 20 machine is. Hayden Stevenson was 2nd in the first moto. I have not seen a Suzuki front fender. On the outside, Matherly looking inside already on Shirley. Side by side. Oh, that was close. As Allen leads there from Speck. Shirley leads them into the outside in 3rd place. Focusing on Shirley because I can see the leaders. I see what's going on there, but I don't want to miss out on if Shirley or Matherly go down, which I could if I end up latched on to Allen out front. So Allen, Speck, Shirley, Matherly, 1, 2, 3, 4 going up the hill on the first lap. Matherly inside, gets the pass done. So Shirley loses a position again, and Matherly looks to be the better of the two here at the track in Unadilla today as we go side by side for the race lead. Colin Allen and Caden Speck just exchanging the blows out front. Allen goes far outside. Speck goes inside. Are we going to get some dualies? Let's see it. Give it to me, boys. Oh, dualies. Look at Seth Shirley backwards in 4th place. Yeah, we'll stick on it. Why not? What do we got? Oh, front flips galore. Someone back there yarding themselves. Everyone else kicking it out nicely. Oh, dualies. Huge ones. Oh, the double front flip for Fowler back there. I think that is. Jeez, it had like 9 guys in the air at the same time. Woo. Boys are tossing this moto. Back to the front, Allen and Speck battling it out as Shirley is back through. Where is Cade Matherly? Matherly is now in about 8th spot. He went down by the looks of it. Wow. That's going to be a change. And this might be a change out front. Wow, Fowler landed that? It looked like there was no chance. Like he had just completed the 2nd front flip and was definitely on his way down. So that's pretty incredible. As Shirley makes the pass on Caden Speck to get into 2nd place. Colin Allen, Seth Shirley, Caden Speck, 1, 2, 3. Cade Matherly dropping down after an early mistake. And how much will that cost him in the end here? Oh, that's Allen down out of the race lead. Balzer goes by. Doyle through. Where is Allen? There he is. Colin Allen remounts now behind Alex Zellner. And your new leader, Seth Shirley, JIBR.co. Well, after the first moto, he lost 2 more points to Cade Matherly. And what was a 7-point deficit became a 9-point deficit. Now, as he leads this second moto, I mean, at the very least, if he wins, it would come down to a 6-point deficit. He would win the overall as it stands. But it's much more than that, and Matherly instead has to do the heavy lifting. But don't count out some of these other guys. Caden Speck in the mix. We saw in that first moto that Tharp and Stevenson were relentless, never gave up on battling for the lead, and eventually Tharp gets the win. So you never quite know what could happen as long as you stay close to your race leader there, Seth Shirley. Balzer third. He's got Doyle right behind him in fourth. Zellner fifth with Allen sixth. Then Matherly in seventh. So Cade Matherly has to go to work on some of these riders ahead of him as Allen trying to figure out a way around Alex Zellner. Kind of hops over a few ruts and loses momentum up the hill, though. Rider down, Balzer. 35 machine in transition of those tabletops. Finds his way to the deck, and Brandon Nygren will close up. Matherly gains another position. Outside to inline for Colin Allen, trying to get around Zellner. Zellner holds it on, though. Slinging that outside line. Again, an outside line for Colin Allen, though. Woo! Bouncing. Gets the pass done on Zellner, and then Zellner's going to have an earful with Cade Matherly before long. What a pass by Colin Allen, though. Just absolutely sent it around the outside. Gets it done. Here comes Matherly side by side. They drop down into the canyon. You can see Matherly kind of backed out of getting the clean jump all the way down the hill. I think he was worried he would get into the side of Zellner there. Rider down. Doyle. Doyle was in fourth. As Matherly works on Zellner, still in a heated battle. Going to try this outside line. Turns to the inside in the next straightaway. Doesn't matter anyway. Gets the pass done. So Matherly moves up another position, following Colin Allen ahead of him. There's Speck and our leader, Seth Shirley. So it's Shirley, Speck, Allen, Matherly. Matherly already up into fourth. It's 24 minutes of this moto still to go. We got plenty of time, folks. Sit tight. There's a lot of racing left on our hands. And update from iBradley in chat is Tharp is P18. Let's see where he flashes by our timing sheets right now. Matherly leads its little group out to the back for the sky shot. Yeah, so our Moto 1 winner, Tharp, is 17th right now. That ain't going to get it done. So as we peek back to our race leader, Seth Shirley, this is probably the worst case scenario for Matherly, because if you remember, first moto, Matherly had pretty big gap. I think it was about 20 seconds at one point back to Shirley, and crashed his way back there. Now, eventually Matherly was able to kind of inch away and ended up in third. It was only a few seconds ahead of Shirley at the line. And the flip side of that is Shirley, who was our fastest qualifier, is sacrificing raw speed, it seems, for consistency. And that consistency, once you're in the race lead, becomes even more dangerous because everyone else has to do the hard charging to catch you. Shirley was coming from a ways back and riding consistent. Now he can try to be consistent in the race lead, which we already saw he could do in the first moto. So he can control his own destiny here and try to do pretty much exactly what he did in the first moto, but instead of charging through the field, he's managing that gap at the front. As Caden Speck still goes to work. 2:16.5 versus a 2:16 flat last time by, but Speck does seem to be a little faster in some areas. Maybe not faster overall, but can tighten the gap down, put that pressure on. And then Allen a few seconds ahead of Matherly. But, I mean, even speed-wise, he's going faster than Matherly right now is Seth Shirley. So So doing the quick maths right now, as Matherly runs, that would be a 7-point swing in the favor of Shirley. Shirley would, of course, win the overall on 4-1 scores, and we'd suddenly be looking at just a 2-point advantage in the championship for Matherly. But I'm saying that just as a heads up that that's where it is at the moment. It is most likely going to change throughout the course of this race. And I'd have to imagine at some point we see Matherly sneak up into the podium positions, if not higher. Through the inside line right there up to the sky shot. All these guys, they had their fun on the first lap. They threw it naughty, but now it's serious business. Scrub it down, land right on that transition to the knuckle, get the power planted immediately because you want to be moving forward. Sky shot is a fun jump, but it is a lot of time in the air. And I actually asked Hunter Lawrence about the sky shot versus the road jump at Washougal and which jump is more fun in real life. And he says the road step up at Washougal, which everyone was getting filthy on in real life, is more fun because the reason why the sky shot is a bit scary is because you have to hit it so fast. And he said the only person that is ballsy enough to do that and still throw huge whips on it is Ken Roxon. So he enjoys the road step up. I feel like Ken Roxon probably would say I like the sky shot a little bit more, but both of them are super interesting jumps to watch because those guys can get filthy on them in real life. And in this game, the sky shot seems to win out in terms of the massive whips that we see. So 2:16.5 last time by for Cade Matherly. Trying to close the gap down on Colin Allen, who in turn is catching Caden Speck, but Speck is losing touch with Shirley. 5.3 second lead. Trevor Kreutzer in chat wants to know, will there be any Super Motocross finals for Sim? I don't have a clue at the moment. I have not been told anything from RaceFactory about that or anything in terms of planning for it or anything like that. I have no idea. So, wrong person to ask, unfortunately. So 10 minutes and a half have gone. 19 and a half minutes still to go. Speck riding the nose right there. Colin Allen throwing it into the corner right there as well. So Cade Matherly going to gain a little bit of ground. Alex Zellner still is 5th with Balzer now 6th. Brandon Nygren quietly a 7th place ride right here. A couple top 10s so far for the 76 today would be massive. McLaughlin in 8th. Hayden Stevenson is in 9th. That was our 2nd place finisher in Moto 1. And Christopher McPherson is in 10th. Austin Parlow right behind him in 11th. Cash Woods in 12th. And then our Moto 1 winner, Braden Tharp, is 13th. Trying to go for the Kellen score today. Win the first Moto, 13th in the second. I'm sure he'll get much further up than that. He's done a good job charging forward so far and plenty of time left, like we've been saying. There's Cepeda and Parlow battling it out. And it looks like Speck maybe went down in second. Colin Allen is now second. And Cade Matherly is now third. So it's another 2 points gained for Matherly. Only losing 5 now in this moto, from 9 down to 4. Or excuse me, this is McPherson, not Cepeda. That was the 817. It is the 317 of Christopher McPherson. And Cepeda's not even the 817. He's the 179. So I keep getting stuff wrong all over the place here. Parlow has a great run down this straightaway. He's trying to get to the inside of McPherson to make this pass through the first sequence of corners. And he will get it done. Nice move by Austin Parlow. And Hayden Stevenson was down. He'll lose 3 positions in one foul swoop right there. Maybe another one as here comes Tharp. Not quite close enough though for Tharp. And the battles continue up ahead. Let's go back to our leader. There is Seth Shirley, 9 seconds ahead of Colin Allen. Another 5 seconds back to Cade Matherly. It is quite literally the opposite gap of what we saw in the first moto. It was that 15 to 20 second deficit that Shirley was trying to make up. This time around, it's Colin Allen who's doing the Or not Colin Allen, excuse me, Kate Matherly who's doing the heavy lifting. Colin Allen is splitting them, I should say. And Shirley's done pretty much exactly what I thought he would do in this moto. The times have not been blazing fast, although the 15.9, the 15.5, those are good. But it's not the 14s that Colin Allen was putting down. A couple other guys also down there in the mix. I mean, yeah, I guess straight up he's one of the fastest riders on the track, but consistently just doing those 15s, that's what matters. It's not about doing 115 and then 120 and then 118 and then another 15. You got to do them consistently. That's how you get this gap established. That's a 12-second lead, 17.4. Colin Allen checks in at a 20.1. Kate Matherly closing the gap down, 16.6. That last time by for the 25 machine. So as we approach the halfway point, Kate Matherly is starting to roll things up to life here for the Twizy Yamaha underneath of him. And can suddenly sense the opportunity to steal a second place away here from Colin Allen. Be looking at 3-2 scores versus a 4-1 out of Seth Shirley, which of course 4-1 beats a 3-2 by a single point. 3-2 is 42 points and a 4-1 is 43 points. So there'd be 1 point gained on the day for Seth Shirley, but like I said, any points will matter, as after this one we'll just have those 4 motos left to go. And with 6 points between them, you just never really know. Allen's actually kind of inched it back down to Shirley now. 7 seconds is the gap, so not sure. A mistake maybe out of the 44. Colin Allen also absolutely flying. Probably realizes that Matherly was starting to close down on him, so he's picked up his pace. And lap traffic down. Yeah, now the gap's stretched back out to 4 seconds on Matherly. .8, 6.8. Allen is inching closer to Shirley. I'm curious, Shirley must have crashed. 17.4 was that time last time by. Yeah, 21.9. He definitely had a mistake somewhere, pretty big one, because he was 15.15 and then 17 out 21. A 17.1 for Allen backs it up again, and an 18.4 for Matherly. Another thing to factor in is lap traffic will start to wreak a little bit of havoc on our race leaders as they have to weave their way through them. Rasmus Balzer has also quietly moved up into the 4th spot. He's gotten around Zellner. Zellner dealing with Caden Speck. So this is 3 riders nose to tail and a lapped rider, or the 413 behind them, I think. Good little fight right here between Zellner and Speck still going on. These guys they're in it for themselves, right? Doesn't matter what championship scenarios are going on around them or what have you. They would love to beat Cade Mather. They would love to beat Seth Shirley. But of course they have to battle each other to get there. Cade Caden Speck has kind of slipped backwards a little bit. This is more of a charge, I feel, forwards from Zellner. And then they are not too far behind Balzer, just up the road to that. Wow, now down to 5.9. So Colin Allen is eating the gap down to Seth Shirley. But that's, again, I think maybe the difference between consistency versus the lap times of a hard charger. So if you're Shirley, I don't know that you can really do anything other than just do the lap times you were doing. Oh, Allen, what a save! Wow, the rear end kicked out heavy. And now Matherly with a mistake kind of knifes the front end. And Allen went down at the top of the hill right here before they drop into gravity cavity. So that is going to move Matherly up into second. 9.9 seconds down. He was faster than Shirley last time by. So that is going to be rather interesting. Man, I can't rate my top 3 tracks. Like that I've been to, you mean? Like in real life? Or what I like in terms of layout? Because my sim top 3 are different than my real life top 3, I think. Really trying to maintain this 9.8 second gap. We'll count out Colin Allen in the battle for second, though. He is all over the 25 of Matherly. They go up to step up to the top. And like I said, it's not, these guys are in as much of a battle for the race as they are for this championship fight between Matherly and Shirley. So if you're Colin Allen, you don't care too much. You don't want to necessarily ruin the championship fight between Matherly and Shirley, but you'll take second place over Cade Matherly every day of the week here. Inside line for Allen is going to take advantage of a mistake to the outside for Matherly. I don't think that was lap traffic related. I think Matherly just kind of got it wrong and ended up having to go to the outside. And thanks, Chase. I appreciate that. I hope for you guys listening at home too, it was like kind of cool to be able to hear the same person that calls this race also call the real Loretta Lynn's. I don't know. For me, it was always like really neat when I got to hear people that I knew get on the broadcast for something. Oh man, Matherly. That's the second or third time the last few laps I've seen him really dig into those ruts. As Allen honestly seems like he's probably the fastest rider on the track. 2:15.4, yeah, 2:18.4 out of Shirley lap traffic. 2:18.3 Matherly. So Allen is going 3 seconds a lap faster than anybody else on the track right now. And this track is brutal. So not out of the woods for the win just yet is Seth Shirley, as we're down to the final 8 minutes of this one plus 2 laps. Allen kind of up and through the bumps and then gets kicked out and goes down. That'll give Matherly second place, and that is the risk you run when you throw caution to the wind. A crash for Colin Allen. Wait a minute. Change for the lead. Matherly took over from Shirley, who was down at the top of the hill. And suddenly things are flipped upside down completely as they throw dualies out front. Shirley trying to go right back after Matherly for the lead. This is not only for the win of the race, this is for the overall and massive championship implications. You can see these guys really tiptoeing off the top of the hill as they both funnel to the outside. Who gets a better drive? Matherly got a really good one. They deal with lap traffic. And then Shirley's going to tuck inside, follow the lapped rider, but it's going to come out even side by side with Matherly onto the mechanic straightaway. Matherly gets the step up a little bit cleaner and then funnels right in behind him, does Shirley. Lap traffic now finally goes down. He's out of the way. We are down to the final 6.5 minutes of this race. And it's only just getting started in the battle for the lead, the battle for the win of this moto, battle for the overall here today. And for Cade Matherly, a huge foot in the door towards the championship if he can beat Seth Shirley in both motos today at Unadilla. Man, Shirley was cruising. And even after Allen went down, had an ample opportunity to just do his laps, and down he went, giving Cade Matherly the door of opportunity swung wide open. So somehow, some way today, despite neither of them really starting near each other in either moto, they have found each other late in both motos, which tends to happen in championship battles. They'll always find each other somehow, some way. And here we go, but this time it's for the lead. And Shirley is all over him. Load over that single jump. Both of them trying to go for this rut. Matherly down, Shirley down. They're both off the bike on the inside line right here. Here comes Colin Allen. He's going to take the race lead away. Matherly picks it up in second with Shirley still right behind him. New race leader is Colin Allen on the 351. And this battle still continues on. That was all Matherly going down. Shirley nowhere to go, hits him. He falls down as well. Doolies on the sky shot again. They just keep giving it. And now they're 2 seconds back of Colin Allen going up the hill. Look at Shirley on this inside line. He's pulled even again. Not quite close enough to get it done. Back down the hill. That huge bump at the bottom catches Shirley out. He's down. Screw you gets him. Balzer goes by. He's now into third place. And Matherly has the breathing room he wanted, but he has to deal with Colin Allen trying to win this moto. Final 4.5 minutes of this one. Allen absolutely pushing the limit around these outside lines. Through gravity cavity again, so we are coming down to 4 minutes left, so this should be 4 laps to go. 3 to go next time by, then they'll get the 2-lap board. Shoot, I can't look at first moto scores because the Hubbard server... Oh no, there it is. Okay, I found it. My apologies. There we go. All right, so Colin Allen in the first moto. Not a good one. 20th place. Trying to turn it around right now and win the second moto as Cade Matherly continues to tail him. Rasmus Balzer in the first moto was 9th. But he is side by side with Seth Shirley in a battle for third. He maintains that position. These overall scores are all over the place. Cade Matherly is going to sneak out of here with a 3-2 for the overall win as it runs. Because Partillo, Stevenson, Tharp not having better motos than they really were hoping to have. Here's Tharp. He is now into 6th. But he's got to get all the way to 4th to beat the 3-2 out of Matherly as it runs. Matherly wants a piece of Allen too, though. Interesting decision to go after him because you want to conserve your championship lead. Man, that bump at the bottom of the hill is huge. If you battle Allen, you might go down, let Balzer into the mix, let Shirley into the mix. Maybe in his eyes, it's like, I got to go try to win this race and maximize the potential gains here because he's gaining 4 points in this moto right now. It was 9 points coming in. It would be 13 leaving. Colin Allen just wants to win the dang moto, though. All bragging rights in the second one. But that 20th in the first moto really can only help to maybe end up inside of the top 10 overall with a moto win. But now 3 laps to go. Next time by, they will have zeros on the clock, which means the 2-lap card will come out. Allen, a little mistake, and that is going to see Matherly closing that gap down. He bounces through those rough bumps on the inside. Matherly kind of hopping out of that inside rut as well. Now Shirley has cleared Balzer, so he is in 3rd place. And this is a little bit more urgency than he's needed to ride with, because he cannot afford to let these points fall to the side as Allen is down. Allen out of the race lead goes down. Seth Shirley's going to hop by him there in 2nd place. Matherly leads with 3 laps to go, about 2.5 laps to go. And the musical chairs continue. So Colin Allen, that corner at the bottom of the hill, has bit so many guys here tonight. Allen went down in it. Then Shirley and Matherly both went down in it. And now Shirley makes a bobble right there, landing sideways. Allen's going to close back down in a battle for 2nd place. Don't think that this is a foregone conclusion that Cade Matherly is going to win this either. We saw Matherly dominate the first moto at Spring Creek about a month ago, and on the last lap crashed it away. Inside move, Colin Allen, side by side. They're nearly rubbing handlebars as they come onto the mechanics area. Inside for Shirley, outside for Allen. Turns to the inside here. Shirley's going to stick to that outside. Let's see. Oh, Allen down. Front end tuck and off the bike. Through goes 746 of Blowers, I think that was, but not on the lead lap. There's Balzer in 4th. So let's see what we got here. Matherly checks in at a 2:19.1, 2:17.9. Seth Shirley, 2-lap card out, like I said. But he did go about a second, 1.2 seconds faster that last time by, and lap traffic will also start to factor in here. It only takes a couple odd mistakes for Matherly, and suddenly Shirley is on him. And then you also have to factor in if Matherly has a late crash here, what happens? Matherly hopping through those bumps very well. That rear end kicking out in that same rut again. Then we see back to Shirley, what he's able to do. Look at how smooth he was through there. So as he ups the intensity, the smoothness seems to stay pretty similar, but Matherly kind of hopping around a little bit. That's the rut that caught him out earlier. Bounced really awkwardly through that. And then you see Shirley coming into it. He kind of hops a little bit weird through it as well. Doesn't get a great drive up the hill. Doesn't really matter too much, though. As long as you're moving forward, that's all you need. 5.4 seconds. A lap and a half to go. 5.2. So Matherly could be riding tight with the lead. Or it could be that he's riding so hard with the lead, he's still making those crucial mistakes. And Shirley's seen that gap come down. I mean, there is not much in it between the two of them. It's Matherly. The bottom of the hill right now is brutal as Shirley slides out, ends up off the track, rejoins. Doesn't want to hit lap traffic. These 2 lappers, he just got by. Both these guys did, Seth Shirley. So now they're going to be like, well, we just let him go. We don't want to let him go again. We're battling each other. But the blue flags are waving. They gotta move. There's a race for the lead going on, and you're not in it. Gotta move out of the way. So finally Shirley gets by. And up to Matherly, who is going to check in and take the white flag coming on to this final lap of the race. We'll get on board with Shirley in a moment as he continues to deal with the lap traffic. and see what is going on. So white flag in the air, 6.9 seconds to gap. Seth Shirley needs a miracle on this last lap. 2:20.5, not going to get it done. So we'll see. Lap traffic is only going to bother Shirley, it looks like, on this lap. I don't think Matherly is going to get to that other group before this one's over. He might, actually. Depends on how fast he's able to catch him. Down to 5.7, 5.6. I mean, Shirley's throwing caution to the wind. He's got 11 seconds behind him, so he can afford to crash and still finish second. But I think that mistake going down Screw You is ultimately what his demise will be, because if he could have been still about 4 seconds back coming out of Screw You and then started doing this on the final lap, you never know. But now it's down to 4.7. Oh, that little tire tap. Devilish. Got through that pretty clean. Down to 4.3. You can see Matherly just up the road, and Matherly is going to hit at least one lapper. Down to 4 flat. Oh. Shirley scrubbing so hard, just putting everything into it on this final lap. Gonna hop out to this bump right here, on it really nicely. 3.6. Gotta get down this hill clean. Charge to the outside, get that bump clean, ends up on the outside of the rut, crosses over. If he got it clean, it might have been close, but it's not gonna work out in his favor. 4.6 now. Matherly, 2 lapped riders to get through on this final lap. Oh, little mistake right there. Not too clean over the step up. That'll cost a lot of time down this straightaway. Shirley kind of taps it a little bit as well. Matherly's just trying desperately to stay on 2 wheels. Final few corners under the tunnel one more time. And boy, oh boy, when he needed it the most, Cade Matherly is going to shine through. He's going to go 3-1 and win the Unadilla National, extend his championship lead, wins the second moto. 1.8 seconds. Shirley gave it everything. 17.3 on the last lap versus a 21.9. Balzer crosses the line. He'll get third. And Tharp, wow, wait a minute. Well, Tharp is going to get fourth, but he's going to miss the overall by 1 spot. He needed someone not named Cade Matherly or Seth Shirley to win this moto and get fourth. So there we go. Fourth over the line for Tharp. He'll actually beat Shirley overall and end up second. But I think he doesn't care about that. He thought he could win the overall here today, and in the end does not. Alex Zellner crosses the line in 5th. Caden Speck 6th. Colin Allen checks into the chat, by the way, and lets me know he disconnected because he did not sign up, so he wasn't going to score any points. Didn't matter his position, just wanted to race. Gave it a good run, though, trying to win this moto. But kudos the ever nice gentleman that he is to allow everyone to get their points that they need. Partolo down in the last corner in 7th, but he'll pick it up and still finish 7th, no problem. 8th for Holt, 9th for Nygren, and 10th Race Cobble by the looks of it. 11th for Emmanuel Cepeda, 12th for Seth Crotty, 13th for Christopher McPherson, 14th for Ryan Chousey. Just waiting for a couple more guys to cross the line here. Chousey going after Cepeda, or McPherson, I should say, in the last corner. Drag race out of Gravity Cavity, and McPherson gets it by a 1/10 of a second. J.R. Reyes, 15th. 16th for Hayden Stevenson. 17th was Cash Woods. 18th, Noah McLaughlin. 19th for Colin Allen, who, like I said, disconnected. And Jack Gatlin picks up the 20th and final points paying position in this moto. Waiting for those penalties to come in. There they are. It does not change at the front. Cade Matherly with one of the most clutch moto wins you can have. wins the overall here today at Unadilla. 3-1 scores gets it done for the 25 Twizy machine. Brilliant stuff. Tharp ends up second, going 1-4, and third, I believe, on the box today will be Seth Shirley, going 4-2. There's now a 12-point lead, I should say. Cade Matherly has over Seth Shirley with 4 motos to go. If they go 1-2, 1-2 with Shirley winning and Matherly finishing second in the final 4, it would tie, and we'd have to count back to see who won the most motos and overalls after that. Unbelievable finish to this one. Matherly retaining that red plate, taking it with him to Budds Creek the next week. Good stuff indeed. Love to see it out of the 25 of Cade Matherly. Block that out. Load up our 450 Moto 2 graphic and come back in the studio with y'all nice folks here. Good stuff. Cade Matherly says that was a grind as he checks into the chat room now. Definitely a grind. It's a grind of a race both times for Shirley and Matherly, but like we said, that time Matherly had to do the chasing, catching Seth Shirley from behind as Shirley did in the first moto, but Matherly gets him both motos, 3-1, 12-point lead, 4 motos to go. Catch the fever, folks. This championship is coming all the way down to the wire, and I'm excited to see what happens in Budds Creek next week. All right. Well, Cade has more overalls now, but if Shirley wins the last 2, then what? If he goes 1-1-1-1 and Shirley goes 2-2-2-2, they would tie. But Shirley would also win the last 2 overalls. So then what happens? A lot of confusing math to be had, trying to figure out who wins these titles. And I went to college for journalism, not math. No, I didn't get this hat signed. I should have. Should have gotten signed by like Chance Hymas, who I called a moto with at Loretta's. It's only 720p because unfortunately when I loaded up Streamlabs today, it defaulted everything back to base settings for some reason. I had none of my widgets. I had none of my themes. So that's why you're seeing a different theme right now, this green and black one that we got. Maybe I'll keep it. We'll see. And I went through and changed everything back to the bit rates that it was supposed to be at, but I guess I forgot to change the output resolution, which it's capturing it's at 1080 and outputting at 720 for some stupid reason. But whatever. So I fixed it. It'll be fixed next time, and I am recording this whole thing, so I might just take it down and upload the entire broadcast at 1080 later on. But maybe we'll see. Just the problems of traveling all the time. I don't always get to keep up to date with what's going on my computer. But I am buying a new PC soon. I'm going all out with a huge PC build soon, getting all the good stuff. And maybe that makes the quality just ample better as well. As we're ready to roll into our final moto of the night, 450 Moto 2, Payson Johnson, 22 points back of Alexis Leclerc with 5 motos to go. Needs to win this moto. Not wants to get it done, maybe wants to win the overall, whatever. Needs to win the overall. All right, who do I pick for whole shot this time? I nailed the Colin Allen pick. I'm gonna go. It's so easy picking Leclerc. I feel like it's simple. Hubbard was close, and I said that he's been screwing me. I told him a couple weeks ago they keep screwing me on these picks. I'm gonna ride the train all the way into the ground. I'm gonna pick Jacob Hubbard for the Studio 8 whole shot award this time by. I know Alex Efforts isn't here, but I'm still so pumped that I got Colin Allen right. The Phil ski and snowboard rider, Colin Allen right. And here we go, folks. Final moto of the night. Ready to go. Let's get it. Most important thing is to see who gets to the corner first, and then we'll figure out who gets the whole shot, because there is a little bit of gap between that first corner and all the way to our Studio 8 whole shot line. Well, it is time to figure out an overall winner tonight, and can Payson Johnson claw back some championship points? 450 Moto 2 is off and running at Unadilla. In the first corner, Leclerc has a nose up the inside. Hubbard gets to the corner first. Few riders going down through the first turn. It looks like a good start for Leclerc. Johnson is up, and I nailed it again. Jacob Hubbard picks up that Studio 8 whole shot. Oh, Leclerc down out of second. Out of the tunnel in the background. Not sure who he came together with. Johnson in a great position in third as Cooper Hunt gets through the valley in second as they go through Gravity Cavity. Leclerc is buried. So Hubbard, Hunt, Johnson, Hall, Carter with a good start this time. Nick Sellen also up here. Castellaneta, Chase Blakely, Ryan, Kyle Boardman, Brady White, Bendis, Neil Seabolt, whoever that is, Dre Smith, Ethan Olson, Jared Gummison, and Alexis Leclerc. Leclerc looks like he's about 16th spot. But, man, now he has to do the heavy lifting this moto. And we'll do a similar look here with Leclerc. We saw Johnson in 35th when we went on board with him in the first moto. Leclerc, a little bit better. 15th, now into 14th. But still has some work to do. Gonna get a freebie right there. Rider down on the inside. And right now trying to close up on the 132 of Dre Smith. Or the 67 as he has his number in there. Oh, rider down on the inside. Leclerc has to move across. That was Chase Blakely that went down. Colby Eagland also in the mix. Leclerc now into 12th. So our leader is Hubbard. Cooper Hunt still second. Johnson third as we come out of Screw You. Not as much urgency for Johnson this time. Doesn't have to make those quick surgent passes. Oh, teammate Cooper Hunt kind of stacks up in front of him. District Designs coming together a little bit right there. Johnson just tailing Cooper Hunt as they drop down into Gravity Cavity side by side. Dualies out of Gravity Cavity. I knew we'd get him once. Oppo whips too. Johnson scrubs it down to the right. Cooper Hunt scrubs it down to the left. Johnson takes the position as he moves into second place. Next on his list, 78 machine, Jacob Hubbard, who, again, in the first moto, played a little bit of spoiler. Hubbo was really good. Must like this track tonight. Seems to be the moniker with Hubbard, who was third in the first moto. And currently in position, 3-1 to win the overall with Johnson's 2-2, but a lot of racing left, some might say. Big old scrub off that single jump down the hill. Johnson is closing. But this is the position we always talk about Johnson not necessarily excelling in. He's definitely had his motos where he's pulled away and dominated. But he's also had his motos where he gets in the lead, and because he doesn't have to chase, he doesn't have to put the hammer down, doesn't have to do the crazy Payson Johnson stuff, it just takes the eye off the ball ever so slightly. He crashes here and there. He struggles with the erode, whatever it is. So I'm curious now with the pressure of the championship, the way that it is, and the need to win, if that laser focus is in a little bit further. But as I say that, there's a front end tuck. And Cooper Hunt goes back by. Here comes Nick Sellen on the 23. And Hubbard has a little bit of an advantage again. So there's Eaglin on the 24. Hall in 6th. Castellaneta 7th. Boardman 8th. Smith 9th. Blakely 10th. Bendis 11th. Lang 12th. 13th for Brady White, Simos 14th, 15th for Ryan, 16th Carter, 17th Cocroft, and then Leclerc cutting in front of Turley to get into 18th. Now might be 17th. Alexis Leclerc on the struggle bus. So Leclerc, unlike Johnson, has not made the quick progress forward without his hiccups. Johnson was able to get into the top 20 by the second lap, and I think was into the top 10 by about the fourth lap. Leclerc is now about to see the timing click over to lap number 4 for him, and he is in 16th. Maybe get a pass up the inside right here out of Gravity Cavity. Another pass, rider down right there. The outside, so he's getting some freebies again. Another rider down. Wait a minute. That's Lang. Lang on the 5 goes down. He was up there as well, battling for our lead. And Leclerc is now side by side with a few more riders. Trying to pick his way through here. Let's go back out front. Battle for the lead is on. Hubbard has Johnson closing up. Johnson has gotten back around Cooper Hunt. Hubbard is still tossing it upside down over the sky shot. Oh, look at this. Johnson launching out to that single. Goes to the outside, tries to rip the corner. Hubbard inside, crosses over, defends the line well. Look at that. Johnson is just pushing the envelope to the outside. And Hubbard, eyes in the back of his head, reading it well, but Johnson might make the pass right here through that tunnel section. And Payson Johnson takes over the lead. Hubbard fighting back. Hubbard to the inside, crosses over. That was tight. Doolies out of Gravity Cavity. Man, Hubbard is fighting for his life trying to hold on to this lead. Johnson scrubs Doolies down the hill. Hubbard off big. Huge swap and down he goes. So Johnson takes the lead. Cooper Hunt goes to second. Hubbard now picks it up in third. And then Colby Eaglin, he's going to try to sneak up there and make it a district 1, 2, 3. Caleb Hall rounds out our top 5. Castellaneta 6th. Sellin 7th. Brady White is 8th with Boardman alongside him 9th. Cocroft in 10th. And now Alexis Leclerc into 11th. 2:17.4, so lap times are coming together, but man, he's so far behind Payson Johnson. Another pass right there. I think Boardman was down. Leclerc's, oh my goodness, front end tuck. I was just about to say that it looks like he'd settled quite well. Loses 2 more positions. Lang was one of the riders that went by and lost another spot right there to Brady White, who jumped the table over top of him. So Lang did go by, and Cocroft also, who Leclerc was battling with, is now ahead of him. So that's 8th, 9th for Lang, 10th Brady White, who he just went down. So Leclerc now back into the top 10. Got to settle down, get away from this group. He's got the speed, of course, to run down a lot of these guys ahead of him. But I mean, man, you even look where Hubbard is on the racetrack. Leclerc hasn't even hit the sky shot. Hubbard in 3rd place is coming out of screw you right now. This is turning into a massive win, potentially for Payson Johnson. As was that Johnson down? No, it was the lapped rider. Here's Johnson, our leader. A little off kilter on that rut right there, but keeps it rolling through Gravity Cavity. I mean, the good news for Leclerc is there is a lot of racing left, and Hubbard's making mistakes. Eaglin could crash if he gets together with Castellaneta. Caleb Hall has Nick Sellin right behind him. You got Cocroft, Lang, and then Leclerc. So Leclerc has 3 guys basically within 10 seconds of him now, and the potential for more things to kick off. He's going to get another spot. I think a rider is down coming out of this first turn. Yeah, that is Cocroft, I think. Yep, just picking it up in... he was 9th. He's now 10th. Leclerc hops into the gully. And you can see T-Lang ahead of him. And this is also a good marker right now, because if Leclerc can get to Lang and pass him, or even stick with him, these are 2 guys that can run really good pace and start getting their way to the front. They won't mess with each other too much, I don't think. As weird as the title chase ended in 2021 between the 2 of them, I don't think there was any real animosity between each other, as far as I'm aware. Watching Leclerc try to close this gap down to T-Lang. But you can already see upper right-hand corner of your screen the gaps. I mean, the leader, Mason Johnson, is on his way towards the finish line right now. Goes through the first corner, through the Studio 8 hole shot line. And Leclerc just coming off of the sky shot. Just goes to show how Johnson made really good work on the first couple laps of Moto 1, coming from 35th, was in 12th, I think, by the 3rd lap. Did not crash. No critical mistakes. Made the passes that he did, got around the riders that went down when they did, and stayed reasonably close to the front group because of it. You know, lost time every single lap because he wasn't going that fast. But time on the racetrack wasn't lost by that much, as Leclerc is going to go into 8th, I think, right there. Those riders down, but not for position, excuse me. And that's so critical, really. You know, it's not about making these crazy early passes and flying through riders. It's about not crashing. And Leclerc crashed twice. Really terrible times. Nick Sellen down right there in the last turn. 2:12.5, Lang 2:13. So they're moving. Caleb Hall in the 2:18s, 2:16.7 Castellaneta, 2:33 out of Cooper Hunt. Colby Eagland is now through. Hubbard is in 2nd place. They're moving, but it's not enough at this stage of it. They need a lot of help ahead of them. So we continue to watch the battle, Lang versus Leclerc, as we creep a little bit closer to the halfway point of this race. And I've tried to stick with it because I feel like Leclerc is just getting close enough now where he can set up a pass maybe on Lang. Or maybe he just sticks with him. A mistake right there allows Lang the opportunity to stretch it back out. 20-second lead now for Johnson. And I think Eagland maybe just went down again. They've caught Caleb Hall in pretty rapid succession. You can see Lang coming down the hill and Leclerc behind him to the outside line right there. Tucking to the inside goes Alexis Leclerc, just eyes focused on Lang ahead of him. And then Caleb Hall just up the road of that. So Castellaneta is checking in through Gravity Cavity. Here's your battle for 3rd place right now. Cooper Hunt and Colby Eagland. Yeah, Hubbard's still 2nd. And then Johnson gone. This is probably the spot that Leclerc could get to. Depends on what Hubbard does. I mean, it is theoretically a teammate. We've also talked about that Leclerc now in this situation would need 3 third-place finishes and 2 second-place finishes, regardless of what Johnson does to win this championship. So, if he gets all the way to 3rd here, takes away 1 of the third-place finishes that he would need. But, of course, limiting the damage. This is a great battle, though, man. Eagland is trying to figure out his way around Cooper Hunt in every way that he can as they bounce through those ruts, kind of hopping. There's like one really big kicker entering that rut that they choose to use in that 90. Oh, that's Hunt down. Weird crash. I don't know if he hit something. Immediate fall-off crash right there. And there comes Castellaneta on the 12. Going to be right there as they go into the sky shot. Can't call it dualies. They weren't side by side, but I like the whips. And Lang and Leclerc. So they have cleared Caleb Hall. They're now 6th and 7th, respectively. 2:13 flat, 2:12.8 last time by. Again, 2 of the fastest riders on the track. So they're on the move. They're making good progress as we have cleared the halfway point. 14 minutes left, plus 2 laps. But no mistakes from here on out. You cannot crash at this stage of it and expect to still get on the podium. I mean, kudos to Lang here as well, because he's had Leclerc pretty much on his neck for 3 laps now, almost 4. And instead of fading into him and then battling and causing each other to slow down, Lang just full focus forward has been charging as Leclerc crosses over in front of a lapped rider right there. 13.6, 14.2. What is Johnson running out front? He did an 18.9 last time by, but he had put in a 2:09.7. The lap times are unbelievable for our defending champion right now. Hubbard just a quiet 2nd place. Eagland 3rd. Hunt 4th. Castellaneta 5th. Lang and Leclerc 6, 7. So if it were to end exactly like this, as we most likely will not, but if we did, this would be Leclerc picking up 14 points in this moto for finishing 7th versus 25 for Johnson. And that is Castellaneta down, so already up into 6th, so he's picking up 15 points. That's a 10-point swing right there from 22 down to 12 with 4 motos left to go. And this is the type of race where if Leclerc gets all the way up onto the podium positions, that's championship level stuff, but that is not going to help as he just went down. Castellaneta is going to go back by. Caleb Hall will also go by. It's going to be tight. Leclerc's trying to keep ahead of him. I think Leclerc's got him actually inside right here. Yeah, jumps that inside line to defend. And stays ahead of Caleb Hall. So it's just a lost spot to Castellaneta, but it's the time. The time adds up right there that you lose. Especially now because it seems like Eagland and Cooper Hunt, they've settled into their positions. The district boys have shown up to help their guy when they really needed it the most. So now it's on Hubbard to try to hold on to 2nd place. Johnson is gone at the front of the field. Lang now crawls into 5th. Leclerc has got to get back after it again. It's going to be a bad lap time for him. Got to be a sucky feeling right now to know how much work you put in to win the first moto, to extend the lead to a point where you could, I hate using the word manage, but you could manage it at that point. Just decent starts, good clean couple laps, always be in the mix at the front, which is easier said than done, but Leclerc's a guy that has done that. And instead, he chooses this motor to have not even a bad start, mid-pack start, and then 2 of the worst timed crashes probably ever in a championship right from the start. The fall well out of the top 20, charges his way back forward, is now 7th. Wait a minute, who just went down? Lang. Wait a minute. Did Lang miss a timing gate? What happened? Tyler Lang is now down in 10th spot. Did he miss a timing gate? Does he know? Oh, what's happened to the 5? He's still dropping positions. This doesn't seem lag related. I mean, someone has got to tell him. Someone should be telling him. Because, I mean, on track, he is still... Let's see, he's still right behind. That is Hunt, Cooper Hunt, going off the sky shot. But now Lang 16th, still dropping. And timing and scoring is not updating. He's going through gates and nothing is happening. And now he's down. So does he pick it up and realize, wait a minute, why am I 17th? What's going on here? No, he doesn't. Doesn't even realize it. Picks it up and immediately keeps going the same direction. Leclerc is now ahead of him. That doesn't really matter because Lang is still losing positions. So where did he go off the track? Like, where does the camera have him? This is... Okay, this is coming off... Yeah, after the tree turn. So he went off the track here before this tabletop by the looks of it. And just has no idea. So he's about to be a full lap down of the group he's battling on because he missed too many timing gates in a row by the looks of it. I'd be curious if he runs the black screen pit board, so maybe he's not even seeing gaps or anything like that. Or is this literally still just a timing glitch? I'm so confused. But either way, yeah, he has lost a lot of time, a lot of positions. Walter Gebhardt going to land on his back, almost. Little giblets. So now it's going to put him in like 28th spot as he's going to come through here. He's chasing Leclerc and Castellaneta. And then finally, watch. Oh, look, this is where he went off the track because the camera is picking him up right here. And it's going to pick him up through that timing gate, and he's going to be not okay. Wait a minute. What is going on? We have got a real timing glitch here because he went clean through that section. He's back by Leclerc. I have no idea what's happening right now. And he's inside of Castellaneta. What is going on right now? Tyler Lang doesn't exist. Literally just went through Braden Castellaneta. So to them, he's in Viz because he is a lap behind them. And the timing gate still is not updated. So this is Novak, who would be going through this section right now. Does he move to 28th? Let's see. Yeah, so he just passed Lang, who's down again. I'm so confused what's going on right now. Somehow Tyler Lang is in Viz, a lap down. Leclerc just went down again. So it's Johnson, Hubbard, Hunt, Castellaneta down again. Then Leclerc, who's now 6th. Yeah, and then Lang is still right on him, but in Viz because he's a lap behind them. But he's been on the track this whole time. I don't get it. So it would be one thing if it was a timing glitch. That, I get that. But he's also in Viz, and honestly, it doesn't seem like Lang even realizes other riders are on the track because even in a situation where you are invisible, you kind of just you don't ride through people like this. You see them around you and you take different lines and all this stuff. Yeah, this is... Everyone went down, is what Harrison is saying, and then sped up after, so we might have slow-mo soon. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. New server. We're in the Hubbo server tonight, and we're experiencing some trubs. Castellaneta is in this amazing battle with T-Lang, but it's... Who knows what it's for? Is it for position? Because, like, again, they're just going through each other. This can't be considered a battle. And then Leclerc just backed out, so maybe Lang just reappeared? Okay, now he's back. 2 laps of being invisible and battling with these guys and not seeing anybody. He's now back in 6th place. I don't even... That's new to me. I've seen timing glitches. I've never seen it be 2 full laps and then suddenly you're back, and you go through people invisible for 2 whole laps. But the other riders on the track seem to be battling each other fine, and it's just you. That was very weird. So now Lang is suddenly back in this battle. And this battle continues to rage on for the 5 spot suddenly. So Eagland is just up the road. Leclerc would be beyond stoked to get to Cooper Hunt now, but I think he'd be really happy to get 4th in this moto if he can. Down goes Castellaneta. So Lang and Leclerc inch by him. I mean, I'm just trying to keep track of this timing glitch at this point because I'm still so confused, but it seems like we're ironed out, maybe? Is that... That wasn't Hubbard, was it, picking it up? Not Hubbard? Who is that? 40, okay. Good grief. So Eagland right here is in 4th, and he just went down. So Lang is going to go by. Leclerc is trying to get Lang. He is now 5th, and he is going to be on Lang for 4th as they cross the line onto lap number 13. 26 minutes have come and gone. Mason Johnson is on his way to dominating this moto and will win the overall with it as well, but Leclerc down the inside goes down. Oh, forced the issue on Lang trying to get 4th. Eagland goes back by. And Castellaneta is almost going to get by. Leclerc gets going just in front of him. So Eagland now 5th. Lang still in 4th as Cooper Hunt now goes down in 3rd, and that is going to maybe change the dynamic of the podium battle, especially if Hunt goes down again. Hubbard all by himself in 2nd. Speaking of all by himself, Mason Johnson, massive lead, 35.6 seconds, 2:11.5 last time by. Clearly the fastest rider on the track. No question about it. So this will be 4 to go this time by because he should get another lap in before time expires pretty easily. Yeah, so 4 laps to go. I mean, he'd have to run a 2:46 basically to not cross the line with time. So 4 to go for Johnson. Makes it more time that Cooper Hunt could have mistakes. Tyler Lang, who's now 4th, could also have troubles. And Leclerc needs to figure it out. This is a disastrous moto for the 7. He's still got the 12 of Castellaneta right behind him. And the 6th place in this moto, it's going to be, it's a lapped rider. The 6th place in this moto, 15 points versus the 25 that Johnson's picking up. So, silver lining, it would still be a 12-point gap with those 4 motos left to go, but then it forces Leclerc's hand. He would need to win at least another moto this year to win the championship. Like, he has got to get Eagland. He's got to get Lang. Really, he kind of has to get Cooper Hunt, too, to make this thing much more favorable. He's going to have 4 laps to do it because these guys are not going to get lapped by Payson. And so if you're Hunt, you got to hit your marks. Lang, going to deal with pressure from Eagland. Leclerc has got to charge. Better down. Is that Eagland? No, it is not. So Leclerc remains 6th. Hard in those braking bumps. So we got anything brewing here? Like, is Lang gonna maybe get to Hunt? Hunt crashes here again. That was where it bit him last time, but he's good there now. Hubbard just minding his business up here. Everyone's pretty evenly split right now. Even back to Castellaneta behind Leclerc. Quiet, solid effort for Brandon Cocroft inside the top 10. Cocroft was 14th in the first moto. And now runs in 8th. Caleb Hall. Might get Cocroft, who just went down. Going up the hill right here. So Hall's going to jump to this inside line. And yep, he is going to just sneak by Cocroft into 8th. So Cocroft now back to 9th. And Nick Sellen rounding out our top 10. Neil Siebold, a.k.a. Jeremy Siebold, is 11th. 12th for Noah Bindis, with Ethan Parks right behind him in 13th. Devin Davis is 14th, with Frank Jackson behind him 15th. Kyle Boardman 16th. Spencer Turley is 17th, and he is our first rider a lap down at this point in time. Kyle Boardman just a few seconds ahead of our race leader, Payson Johnson, who, like I said, now has 3 laps to go. The 2-lap board was not out when he crossed the line because time was still on the clock. So these guys all looking at 3 to go. This is going to be a long moto for some of these guys. I mean, they're crossing at 3:30 with 3 laps to go. Pretty rare you see that. England is going to start feeling the heat from Leclerc soon. Leclerc's got the eyes of blood behind him. And if Leclerc loses this title even by a few points, man, he is going to look back at this moto and think, dang it, man, I just needed like 2 less crashes, maybe get 3rd in this moto and save a really bad day from happening. Another slide out right there. Castellaneta not close enough, but again, just giving more opportunities to the riders ahead of him to just streak away. Cooper Hunt, for what it's worth, is not giving up on trying to close up to Hubbard, who's in the 220s. 2:15.5 for Cooper Hunt, so gained 5 seconds last time by. 7.4 seconds the gap. 2-lap board now finally coming out for your race leader, Payson Johnson, who checks in through Gravity Cavity. 31:45 is when the 2-lap board comes out. And he just missed it by like 20 seconds or so. So he's A-okay out front, and it's really about what happens behind him. Do we see these battles materialize? Does anything else happen? Does Leclerc get more points? Does he lose more points? Not a lot is happening. So while not a lot is happening, let's watch Payson Johnson do his work here. 51 seconds in the lead. I'm going to be quiet, and let's just watch him do his work. Man, how many times is he doing that jump? And I was like, at some point, he's going to crash on it, right? Well, he just did. Finally. Uh-oh, T-Lane closing up on Cooper Hunt. And Leclerc is not going to get to England. So he looks like 6th place is going to be the best Leclerc can get in this moto. After clearing away being one of the 2 best riders easily in the first moto, suddenly everyone else... Wait a minute! England is down with lap traffic. Leclerc is going to come over the top of the hill, sneak by them into the top 5. That is a lucky break right there. Gains him another point in the championship, which all of them are oh so critical. So now it's a 9-point swing from 22 to 13 if it stays this way. Lang is still desperately trying to get to Cooper Hunt. As the white flag has waved for Payson Johnson out front. And Hunt, in his own right, is trying to get to Hubbard. So hold on tight, folks. Battle for second place is not over yet. There is Hubbard. There is Hunt. And there is Lang. 2, 3, 4 on your screen coming to the white flag this time by. And Lang has been flying after the weirdo moment with the server glitch. He's just been 213s, 212s, 213s, 212-4. Flying. Is that Hubbard? Hubbard is down after the finish line jump. So Hubbard slips back to 4th. And so it's going to be up to Lang to try to close up on Cooper Hunt for second place as Hubbard tries to maintain this 4th place position. Or will he maybe let Leclerc through as a teammate? I don't think they're that close though. And Colby Eaglin is really trying to get back to Leclerc on this last lap. Track is brutal right now. Look at Lang, man. Absolutely flying on Cooper Hunt right now. This is probably the best I've seen Lang ride this year. And that's saying something. He won a moto earlier this year. He's ripping right now. Guy's bouncing through. Hunt goes down. Lang in a second. As Johnson circulates on the last lap. So Hubbard goes into 3rd. And Hunt picks it up now 6 seconds in front of Leclerc. Another crash and Leclerc is there. Leclerc just made another bobble and here comes Eaglin side by side up the hill. Drag race between the two of them. Dually scrubs. Oh, it almost came unglued. They're still side by side coming down to the sky shot. Leclerc gets that inside line and holds it. Meanwhile, Payson Johnson wins the Unadilla National. 2-1 scores. Dominant second moto win. There goes Johnson. There goes Hunt in 4th. Hubbard in 4th, I should say. And then Leclerc has cleared. There's Hubbard down at the bottom of the hill. So Leclerc is going to go to 4th. And this could, depending on what Hunt does on this final few corners, man, oh man, if Leclerc gets 3rd in this moto, talk about pulling it out. Well, Leclerc has 6 seconds on Hubbard now, and Hubbard just made another bobble. I mean, Hunt just has to get through a couple more corners, and 3rd will be his, but Leclerc getting up to 4th. What a salvage that's going to be. So Lang crosses the line. He'll get 2nd. Final corner for Cooper Hunt. In and out. He is good. He'll cross the line in 3rd. And Leclerc does get all the way back to 4th. So we said he needed a couple 3rds or 3 thirds and 2 seconds. Well, now he's got a 4th. He needs 3 seconds and a 3rd down the stretch to win this title. Jacob Hubbard crosses in 5th. Eagland in 6th. Immediately disconnects. Castellaneta 7th. 45-second win for Payson Johnson. As Castellaneta crosses in 7th. 8th should be Nick Sellen. 9th for Caleb Hall. 10th for Siebold. 11th for Cocroft. 12th for Ethan Parks. And Frank Jackson, the last rider on the lead lap, in 13th. We'll wait for all those guys to finish it off, but at least for right now, Payson Johnson wins the Unadilla National. 2-1 scores and overall gains 4 points on the day on Alexis Leclerc. 19 down to 15. So if you think about it, doing that every week till the season is done doesn't win the title for Payson Johnson. Going back to what we were talking about at Washougal, he needs to gain average 8 points in the next 2 races to win this championship, which would basically be winning with Leclerc going 2-3, 2-3 behind him down the stretch. He needs to go 1-1-1-1, and Leclerc would have to go 2-3, 2-3 for Johnson to walk away as the champion. So 1 more rider still to cross, and we'll get those penalties in just to see if anything weirdo shift in the top 10. No, it all stayed the same. Actually, looks like Siebold got Caleb Hall for 9th. But other than that, Leclerc goes 1-4 for 2nd overall. 2-1 for Johnson, wins it today. And I think T-Lane goes 4-2 for 3rd. As Hubbard throws away a podium with the 3-5 there late. And Cooper Hunt goes 6-3 but doesn't get on the podium overall. So that is an unbelievably wild Unadilla National in MX Simulator. And that will do it for us here at Start Your Systems tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully it was a good broadcast for y'all. We got through all the motos pretty quick, and we get to send you on your way before it's actually midnight on the East Coast tonight. So big shout out, of course, to RaceFactory Gaming and the RaceFactory Gaming track crew for all of their help every week in making this possible, as well as you guys for tuning in. Thanks so much every single week for making the stream a lot of fun and the chat being lively. Shout out to all the sponsors as well that back the series and make it possible for us to go racing. 2 more to go. Budds Creek next week. We hope to join you guys then on August 16th. That's next Wednesday. And then the finale at Ironman on August 23rd. Going to be a lot of fun these last 2 nationals to try to crown 2 champions. Close battles in both classes, and I don't think either one is decided by any stretch of the imagination going into these final 2 races. So thanks guys for tuning in, and we hope to see you guys at Budds Creek in 2 weeks, or in a week I should say, but for now we'll send you guys on your way. And I hope you have a lovely evening, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week. So long for now.